So now what do I do? Well, I guess there's only one thing. There's something I'd like to know. Are you real? Can you feel?
Hi friends and Prairie Vintage, my name is Linda. I'm an energy intuitive reader here on YouTube. I use spirit, my intuition, the tarot to communicate energies to you guys. Fabulous viewers, this is a pre-scheduled video that's going to come out because I won't be here to publish this video, but rest assured this is all timeless. So whenever you come across this video, the message was meant to find you. If you guys are new to this channel, welcome. I'm so glad you found me. For those of you guys returning, I'm so blessed. I'm so grateful to be here doing your reading. I have launched a membership program. Okay, there's all sorts of information when you click the join button that will describe exactly what that membership program is all about. And so if you're wanting to consider whether you want to join this channel as a member, then click there to get more information about this. Okay, so there is a discount running right now through Prairie Vintage, which is my site for all private readings and all merchandise. So I'll put the information below if you are interested in that, beautiful angels. But what are we looking at? Today's reading, we're going to be taking a look at what it is that we're not seeing or understanding. I don't know what this is about. I don't know who it's about or what we're going to see. Okay, but it's most likely something that might be in your blind spot, or maybe yeah, you just have like an indifference about something because maybe you have a misunderstanding or one sort of understanding of what it could be. Okay, so whatever this is that you don't see, we'll be communicating. Okay, and we have 4 options to choose from. Before we get into the picks, let's take a look at the decks we'll be using for today's reading. We will be using the Enneagram Oracle. And this is the Mystical Oracle, and we'll also be using the Love Oracle as well. Okay, so I'll put the link to these decks right here if I remember, because I do have a flip through of these decks. We'll be using the Sacred She Tarot, which is right here, for the tarot piece. I'll be using the Blind Spot Oracle, the Oracle of Pluto, the Wild Unknown, Alchemy deck, and we'll also be using the Essential Oils Oracle. So not too many because I do have these 4 piles to choose from, and so I ask Spirit to be easy on me because I am very energetically drained. Okay, so I haven't been posting as often. There's lots going on with me, and I'm just getting balanced and sorted through. Okay, so let's channel what this is about. For option number 1, something very special about these cards were made by my daughter, which is absolutely adorable. She made 4, and she was going to make, she said, 78 oracle cards for me and stopped at 4. She said it was too much work, and she's held on to these for, I think she said 2 years. And so she gives them to me, and of course I'm just crying because they're absolutely adorable. So she was kind of little when she made these, and well, she's still little, but it's just adorable. So all 4 of these were made by my daughter, which I find just absolutely cute. So the first one we have here for option 1 is Love. Option number 2, we have Trust. Option number 3, we have Accountability. Sorry, that one was coming in and out of focus. And then for option number 4, we have Anger. Okay, so I know it's bright here. Hopefully you guys can see. It doesn't really matter where I put them on the table. There's always like a glare. So love, trust, I don't know. Does that help? Not really. sit with it. Pick whichever one you feel called to. If you're drawn to multiple, it definitely could be multiple messages for you, okay? But don't stick around that pile. If it definitely doesn't make sense and it's not resonating for you, it's not your message. Don't force it to be. It's not a thing. Don't make it a thing, okay? Then just go check out another pile. Not every reading is going to have something specific. Only those needing to hear messages from the divine are going to pull through here at the time that you're needing to hear it. So that's how it works, okay? And yeah, so if this doesn't resonate, then I'll see you at the next one. And if this does, let me know in the comments. And don't forget to check out the membership area. And I love you guys very much. And I will see you guys at your pick. Hello, gorgeous angels. You guys picked the card of love. Absolutely gorgeous. Who wouldn't pick love, right? Okay, so pre-shuffled oracle cards. I've not looked at these. And this is going to be, what is it that you're not seeing? Maybe you're not understanding. Maybe it's in your blind spot. Maybe you have a misconception or you understand it one way and you're not seeing it a different way. But whatever this is, it's what you're needing to hear in regards to what you're not seeing or understanding clearly or at all. Okay, so love. You guys can skip ahead if you don't want to sit throughout this card process of the layout. Okay, we have 52 with the gluttony. This is a 9 cups in reverse. Okay, so intemperance, debauchery, avidity, bulimia, eagerness, and insatiability. Type 7, the enthusiast thinking center between pleasure and pain. The number 7. So the green ray, which is the heart chakra. 7 is a number of faith, wisdom, reflection, understanding. 7's about spirituality, intellect, personal growth, solitude, metaphysics. Okay, 7 is the card of the chariot, which is about integration of shadow, success, movement, balance, Cancer energy. It's funny because when I saw this love, I thought for sure this was probably going to be the most challenged. I don't know why, but I mean, this is definitely a challenging card. Let's see. So we have cleanse. The trigger statement for this card says there is no answer with celery seed. And the true statement is I am the answer. The aligned outcome for you is simple, but not necessarily easy. Commit your goals to heart each day and know every single action will take you closer to them. With cleanse. Trigger statement, there is no answer. True statement, I am the answer. Oh, my cat scared me. What's he doing? My cat's been acting funny. I think he wants to go outside. Give me a second. You want to go outside? Come on. Go. No, now we don't want to go outside. Oh, it doesn't want to go outside. Alrighty. We have the androgyne. So this is like no confined label, no gender. It's not masculine nor feminine. It's like it can't be sort of boxed or labeled in any way. Okay, so 62 is number 8. 8 is about movement, change, attainment. 8 is authority, manifestation, business, leadership, abundance, goals. 8 is the strength in the tarot, which is Leo, represents courage, can also represent the ego. Okay, it's also the star, which is Aquarius, all about our vision and our hopes, our destiny, healing. Okay, we see 2 rainbows. Rainbows could definitely be signifying the cat is wanting to go up here. He's being silly. What are you doing? The rainbows could signify, okay, here he comes. Sorry, do not laugh at his, at his shave because the cat got shaven and he is funny now that he's shaved. So rainbows representing changes of views and perspective. Seeing all the colors of the rainbow would mean I have like a variety of understanding from both ends of the spectrum. It covers off everywhere in the spectrum. There is no right or wrong when we're on the spectrum. There's just everything that it encapsulates. Okay, so we have 2 rainbows on either side here. And we have moose. So moose could be something larger than life, something maybe overwhelming, or maybe even seeming like, like difficult to move. We can't get through it. Maybe like an obstacle or something that's just really big and overwhelming. What are you doing, Lucy? Okay. Oh, he's biting. He's being silly. Okay, go down. Go down. Go down. Come on. Let's go. Go down. You're making a mess there. Oh, you are a funny baby. Okay. So we have wavering, number 70 or number 7. So now we have another 7. Where did we have 7? Right here. 77 is a master number. Trust to fall, an adventure that arises from deep wisdom, trust of life, and trust of self. Wow. Okay, and then we have 72 or the number 9 with initiatory ordeal, stress level, loss, disrupted routine, bereavement, separation, health crisis, major conflict, exceeded limits. Type 9, the peacemaker, instinctive center between forgetting and asserting oneself. Yellow is solar plexus energy. Okay, and then we have more yellow here with solar plexus. 75, dark night of the soul, stress level, existential crisis, disintegration of the mask, drop of motivation, burnout, identity crisis, lack of direction, uselessness of success. Type 3, the achiever, emotional center between appearing and authenticity, number 3. And this has been my MO for the last 4 years. Existential crisis. All of this is real in our mind until we're on the other side. Okay, look at the 2 different yellow colors. And we have the dark yellow and the bright yellow. Can you guys see that on here? And barely. There are 2 yellows though. One seems almost neon yellow. One's more of like a, I don't know, a more concentrated, deeper yellow. Okay, so I'm going to channel this, and then we're going to get the tarot. Should we do tarot? Sorry, I'm figuring it out. Tarot. Let's pull some tarot here. Spirit for pile 1. What are they not seeing, understanding? What is not visible within their conscious awareness just yet that they're needing to know? Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile 1. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of the collective. Thank you so much, spirits, and thank you so much, pile number 1, for being here and for allowing me to tap into your energy, the energy around you at this time. I'm so blessed. Okay, so bottom of the deck, we have karma. I don't read bottom of the deck. Reverse. This karma card is the Temperance, which is Sagittarius. Under that, we have 9 swords. And we have 5 of swords in reverse. And we have 8 of wands, which says self-confidence. And I don't know if I read that. Arrogance. 5 swords in reverse. Self-confidence with the 8 of wands. And the Fool with beginning in reverse. So that's Aquarius energy. And we have 7 swords in reverse, and it says deception. Okay, and then we have the Queen of Wands, which is Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And then we have my cat scratching at the door. 5 wands, competition. Okay, now I want to let him out because I got to focus. Okay, go. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I get your little paw? No. Let me open the door. He's getting stuck. Just little paw. Okay, it's difficult today. All right. Focus. What's going on here? Give me a second. You guys can click ahead. Under that, we have balancing, which is the Justice card. Okay, Libra energy. Wow, balancing karma here, and the 9 swords are right in the middle, which is this dark night of the soul. Okay, give me a second. Okay, beautiful angels, you're not going through a good time right now. Okay, I feel you. I feel you. I see you. And I see a boob. Only boobs I want to see are my own. Okay, so I see you. I feel you, and it's not easy. And you're at the point where it's like, well, who am I? Like, really, this is existential crisis, right? When I say I see you, you're like, well, I don't even know then who you see, because I don't know who I am, you know? Now, this doesn't mean that you're inauthentically someone trying to upkeep some sort of illusion of self. This is you on a journey of self-discovery, okay? So what you're not seeing and understanding is how difficult you are carrying a weight you don't need to carry. Beautiful angel. You're very much in an understanding that you have that's very natural and human, that is created by an ego that helps protect us, and it tries to keep us safe. And then when we start to crack and see beyond the mask and the ego and that identity, it's very scary. That's what's a dark night of the soul, an existential crisis, because if we're not that, then who the hell are we? So your false self of whoever you were in the past, whoever you were freaking yesterday, last year, you're not that person. There is no one that you really are. You're a divine being that's adapting to every moment in the present moment. So whatever the present moment requires of you, as long as you're acting out of heart and not out of shadow and ego, then you're being your authentic self. And so every moment is completely different because it's never been experienced. So who are you? You're going to be exactly authentic in the moment as the universe unfolds like it never had before in front of you. And so you're always someone different. You're always morphing. Okay, but this, the ego doesn't like to hear. This isn't something we can fall back on. The ego wants some form of conceptual fallbackness that is tied, tested, and true, that we know we can hang on to and feel secure about. When there's an unknown, when we don't know what's going to unfold, it's scary. And I don't want to be there in the unknown. Why? Because the ego wants to control so that it can preserve itself. It's going to fight whatever it needs to so it could stay alive. The ego has been in place since the beginning of time, when we were cavemen grunting, and there were woolly mammoths outside scratching at the door, and we had to protect ourselves. We had to survive. Humans had to survive. So base humans, when we're grunting cavemen, whatever we were doing, even 200 years ago, whatever we were doing, the ego was always evolving. Everything evolves over time, slowly but surely. Okay? And so this evolution of the ego collectively is now evolving to a different state where we're becoming closer to our divine nature. We're no longer just in this dense body, believing to be the body, running away from saber-toothed tigers and woolly mammoths. And we're connecting to the divine nature of who we are. This hasn't been done before, and it's scary. What do you mean I'm not the 9-to-5 person? What do you mean I'm not this identity I created that has only been really understood by society in the last 80 years? When you're born, your family, society, your teachers, your environment tells you and shapes you into the acceptable version. If you want to survive in this world, you must be acceptable by others. Otherwise, you're unruly, no one likes you, and you won't survive. And so the ego needs to survive. It's there instinctually. And so when we're told we're too much, when we're told not to fight back, when we're told to just get along, when we're indoctrinated to believe to be this way, and that's the only way that you're going to be accepted. I want to be accepted, of course. I don't want to be shunned. I don't want to die, because evolution would say you would be the bottom lobster, you would die. You want to be the top lobster. And so I'm going to do as I'm indoctrinated to do, as I'm coached to do. And then we wake up one day, 45 years old, and say, what the fuck just happened? I don't know who the hell I am. And we are the person, the light being that we were at birth before we started getting all of these conditions. And so what's happening here? There is a you that's been created, an identity, many little egos. We create identities for different parts of our world. I create an identity here to get along at work. I created an identity here so I can have a successful relationship, and I don't, I can't procreate because I'm not desirable. So I create a lovable, a desirable, sexual, whatever that I need to be in order to procreate. And then I create another identity that's like making it socially acceptable so I can have friends and social life because I don't want to be solitary and go extinct. So I make all of these identities, and there's a need for them. And then I believe that I am those identities. Okay. And so you're none of those things. And I think you peeked behind the curtain. But when we're in two worlds and we have our foot in both worlds, we start to not know what's real, And this isn't saying you're crazy and you're delusional and you don't know what's real. You're actually more real than the one who's spiritual and thinks that there's, I don't know, there's an identity that they've created of some sort of spiritual story that they're telling themselves. You're more real than that because you're at the point where you're saying, I don't know what's real, what's not real. I'm not saying what's spiritual and not spiritual. I have no idea what's coming or going. You're as raw as it gets. And so you're now stepping into the truth of the divine nature that you are. And because time is an illusion and we don't know how long this process takes, could be a suffering process, because when we are still filled with duality, it's painful. But when we're ignorant and we don't know we're an ego, it's kind of like ignorance is bliss. We don't see it. We just believe we're that ego, that identity. We're in the dream, doing actions, having weird conversations on Pluto, acting a certain way, believing it. Sometimes they're nightmares, but, we're still doing out the actions. There's nothing really that's like making us feel discombobulated. But then when we wake up, it's like, whoa, I was completely in a dream thinking that was real. And so this is sort of the same idea, except now you're awakening and you're side by side of your dualistic self, the identity you created with your ego, and your authentic self is coming out and it's seeing this. And it's like, whoa. What is this ego? What is this identity? And so the authentic light that's coming through, it's being cracked open. The more the light sort of comes out, the more it casts light on everything around it. And so if we're full of shadow, devil, whatever you want to call it, ego, darkness, this light that starts to open, it starts to shed the light. But once the light hits it, it doesn't sort of just fall away instantly. It's like, let's say we're full of egos, shadows, scary things, okay, in a dark room, but the lights are completely off and you don't see it. And if I tell you, and you trust me, I'm like, there's nothing in this room, it's just darkness, don't worry. And you're going to be like, okay, ignorant, there's nothing in this dark room, I'm safe. But when we turn on the lights and you see all these like shadows and like identities, like all of this stuff, when you turn the light on, it is scarier than all hell. But those shadows, those devils, those egos, those identities aren't necessarily real, but you turn the light on. And so we see them because we've lived them for 4 years, 40 years, 10 years, however long we've created that identities, because there's multiple egos. And so we flick the light on as the light comes on. And this is why when you have let's say a kundalini, okay, this is like a spontaneous kundalini that now all of a sudden it's like, we have this seeing of what's not real and we completely go crazy. We go crazy. We're actually not crazy, but people can certainly go and need psychological help, and they go into mental institutions because it's too much. They turned on the light and they saw all the demons. Okay. And this is the demons. It is the darkness that we're seeing. And so sometimes when we have a kundalini, it's not spontaneous and quick, it's slow. And so this light is opening, and sometimes we see a shadow here, a shadow there. We're identifying an ego here and an ego there, but we don't control how fast this kundalini or the spiritual awakening happens. It's just on. Divine knows how fast it happens. And so if you're having a fast sort of awakening, you turn on the lights and all these little goblins are everywhere. But those goblins cannot hurt you unless we believe they're real. And then it's like we're in the dream fighting goblins, talking to people on Pluto. We really believe it. And so we have the same anxieties and fears like we would in the real world. We're really anxious. We're really having those strong, intense emotions. Meanwhile, it's like if I knew I was just, on Pluto having a conversation, but it was a dream, I wouldn't be stressed at all. But I don't know I'm dreaming until I wake up. This is the same thing. When you wake up, you're going to see that all of this stressor, all of this anxiety that you're having, you're actually seeing a lot of mirages, which are your false identities and your egos. And they were very real to you. They were very real to you because you live them. And so you could say, Linda, well, if it's really real and I live them and I've seen them, they must be true, right? Everything we believe to be true will be true to us. You could play that slow backwards, however you want to soak that in. Okay, if I believe I am, again, the unicorn I always use here, and I really, really believe it, and you know that I'm a genuine person, but I really, truly, for whatever reason, really think I'm a unicorn. I'm not just trying to be funny. And I go outside and I eat grass and I act like a unicorn and I have to sleep in my barn and, I don't know, do unicorn things, eat Skittles. I don't know what they do, fart rainbows. If I think I'm the unicorn, I will start acting like the unicorn. If I think I'm on Pluto for reals, even though I'm in a dream, I'm still acting and doing the motions like I'm on Pluto. I gotta wear this mask. I'm bouncing around, however they bounce around on Pluto, if they even do, if there's even such a thing as outer space. Okay, so whatever it is that we are dreaming, we believe it to be real. And so the monsters and the shadows are as real as it gets. And so it doesn't matter if I tell you it's just an illusion and it's fake. If you are seeing it, it's as real as it gets. And so we're seeing a lot of shadow. We're seeing a lot of illusion. We're seeing a lot of things that aren't real. They're mirages, they're illusions, they're identities that were created over time. And so once those shadows start to actually, like, your eyes start to adjust to the light, you're like, oh, that wasn't a goblin, that was just a blanket folded in the corner. Oh, that wasn't a little troll by my foot or a gnome, that was just my shoe. It's like your eyes get adjusted to the light. Your light is slowly coming through, or fast, I don't know. Some of you guys, I'm seeing a kundalini here. This is why I'm channeling kundalini. Okay, if you don't know what a kundalini is, you don't have to get fancy about it. This isn't only for, those who practice Buddhism or, out east, and they're like, have one understanding. This is a very spiritual process that happens to anyone waking up. I don't care if you're Christian, Buddha, atheist, agnostic. Once you're called to wake up to your divine nature, and you could call it whatever, God, divine, spirit, oneness, source, okay? You are waking up to your divine essence. And when you wake up to the divine essence, we now know what's not divine essence. But until we connect to it and see it, we don't know what's not divine essence. It's just like if we never tasted sweet, we don't know if something is not sweet, if it's sour. We won't know. We just know the thing that we know. It's like if all I ever saw was like outward with my eyes, but I never had a mirror, like an actual physical mirror, and I never saw myself. But then it's like, I'm just always guessing what I look like. I don't know, And so that one might have been a bad analogy, but the point being is you're having an experience right now of the light coming through. And now you know what those shadow goblins are, okay? I'm calling them goblins. I don't really necessarily get hung up on words. Don't care. This isn't a thesis. This isn't conceptual. This isn't about the more we know. This isn't about being all spiritual woohoo about cards and crystals or Christians or Buddhists or whatever. I had more kundalini than you. This is solely about our divine nature, which unfolds, and we start to see it more and more and more and more. And when we see it more and more and more, the false self falls away, and all those identities and egos are being seen through the goblins, the darkness, the shadow, whatever that is. It's not real. It's a mirage. It doesn't exist. It's a way that we act, or we think we have to act a certain way and wear the mask on Pluto because we really feel we're on Pluto and we need to survive. So there is no need to survive. You're an eternal being that has been here since the beginning of time and will be till the end of time, if there ever is an end of time. You are eternal. You are an extension of the divine. And so we start to believe we're the body. We start to believe in the identity. We start to believe that we're, again, having the conversations on Pluto when we start acting that way. And then the light gets turned on and we realize we're not. That's a shock to the system. Okay? And so I believe right now there's a shock to your system and it's calibrating. And I don't know where you're at, but I do feel like sometimes we sort of see the blessing and sometimes we see the curse in it. And sometimes we get in our own way and it seems very intense. And then other times it's calmed down and we are full of love and light. And both are equally valid because we need to experience all of it and we need to go through this dark night of the soul. Now, we don't need to do anything, but in order for us to be liberated from suffering, in order for us to walk the narrow path that Christ talks about, it is recognizing our ego and walking through the path that most people just are ignorant about. That's why it's narrow. Not many people, especially in the past, now there's lots of awakenings, are actually conscious of what they can do about their ego. They just go on acting ignorantly, turning a blind eye. Dog eat dog, them versus me, out there, separation consciousness. No, we're all one. And I am a divine being. And so I must be perfect like a creation of God, meaning there is nothing within me that is not perfect. And if I'm seeing imperfection, it's only because there's a shadow there and an absence of God light. And so as my light starts to shine, I see that it's not the darkness. It's not a goblin. It might have been dark there for a very long time. And now I'm bringing in the light. Okay. And so what Spirit is talking about here is that you're going through a dark night of the soul. You're balancing out. You're coming into masculine, feminine, balancing your self. Okay. This is all about balancing your energies. Everything is polarity. You have shadow and light, just like everyone else. And you have masculine and feminine, just like everyone else. Now, this doesn't mean you have to have an equal amount of darkness and an equal amount of light and say, yeah, I'm bad and I'm good. It's like, yeah, we carry a lot of shadow, but we integrate the shadow so we can become more light. Because evolution and ascension is about being a light being and really eradicating a lot of this ego that's no longer needed. We're no longer fighting saber-toothed tigers. We don't need the ego. And we can say, well, the ego protects us. We need a little bit of ego. And when I hear that, it irritates me. It's only an ego would say that. Only the ego wants to still hang on by a little bit, and it goes through the back door. And now it creates a whole other identity. An ego is an identity we create. It doesn't matter its intent. It wants to just stay alive. No, but this ego is important. I'm the guru. I'm more spiritual. I'm more ascended. I know more about this type of stuff. Now I'm a Christian, or now I'm a whatever. No, that's an ego. We're divine beings, all of us are one. And so there is no label to put to what you're going through, except for the fact that you're an extension of the divine. Okay. And your divine nature is coming through and everything that's not you is going to be shown to you. And it isn't scary because it doesn't exist. It doesn't mean you don't get scared. You're still maybe terrified. You're maybe still afraid or fearful or desirable. You're still clinging, attaching, hooking into, desiring, resisting, avoiding. Those are all egoic things. We don't need to do any of that when we're balanced, when we're in union. When we're balanced and in union with self, what happens? We don't need to seek external validation. We don't need to seek any sort of desires. We don't need to fulfill ourselves externally. We're already whole, complete, and completely in balance. Right now, we're trying to fulfill a void by chasing, seeking, doing certain things. That's an illusion. We're coming out of the illusion into our truest nature. Okay, we're also not running, resisting. We're not saying, oh, no, I don't like that. I don't like that. That's sort of not me, or I don't want to try that. No, all we're doing here is we're being in line with reality. Whatever the divine is showing me, I have to come with clean hands and no preconceived stories from traumatic eyes or the veil of the ego or past experiences, projecting onto what I think it might mean or what it should mean. No, that's all perception, and it's all your own veil of what you're sort of making up. And so that's an illusion. You're deceiving yourself. when we say, I know nothing, I know I have a veil, and every moment is completely unique. I am present to what is. I've never experienced this moment, what is in this moment, and I'm open to seeing it as it is. I accept reality. The pain is the shadow, and it comes and goes because it manifests and it unmanifests. And the happy times come and go. They manifest and unmanifest. Here's the dessert. It feels very good. Here's my flat tire. It feels very bad. It happens. It's not now I'm enlightened. I never get a flat tire. I'm enlightened and now all I have is love and light. No, pain happens. Okay, but the suffering is a choice to stay there, wallowing about the flat tire. Now I can't get to work, and now it created this, and now it created. No, it was reality happening with the pain, because pain happens, and so does the joy, the happiness. Okay, it's us being balanced and not hooking into either chasing. I need more cake. I need more love. I need more security. I need more of this. No, the ego wants that, and it wants to cling on to it because it wants to be the top lobster. So when I get it, then I'll be happy. And then we get it. It's like, wait. I got the job I wanted. Well, that's great. But now I want this other position in the same job. So now I'm going to go after that. And then we get in and we're like, wait. But I actually want more money. And we're on a perpetual chase because the ego will never be happy. It's constantly on that rat race, trying to attain. And what's it doing on the other end? Running away, avoiding, and blocking what it doesn't want because it sees it as a threat. And so those are the goblins that you see when you turn on the light. And you see it magnified because the ego is going to magnify them really severe so that you're scared, so that you live. This is a saber-toothed tiger. Oh my gosh, you're going to die. Someone's going to threaten you. Someone's going to see you as like, I don't know, you have broccoli in your teeth, you know? Oh my gosh, I have broccoli in my teeth in a live audience? So what is that? That is the ego creating, you're going to be laughed at, scrutinized, you're not going to get a mate, you're going to be bottom lobster on the totem pole, and then so the ego needs to be there to protect you. It wants you to procreate. So who's going to want to, I don't know, be with someone with broccoli in their teeth? It's very, 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 very funny analogy, spirits, but you know what I'm saying, right? And so the ego is very loud. That's a saber-toothed tiger, and you're not going to procreate. So now I fear when I go on stage, I got to check my teeth. I got to make sure I don't have broccoli in my teeth. I want to prevent the broccoli in my teeth because then that means I won't mate. That means the saber-toothed tiger is going to kill me and I'll never survive. I can't procreate. It's like that's the ego since the beginning of time that's on hyperdrive. And so it's avoiding the laughter, the failure, the identity is going to be like, the self is going to be laughed at or criticized, or the ego is going to then try to keep you alive. So the ego is trying to keep you safe, trying to keep you alive, trying to get you this thing that it thinks you need. You don't need anything because you're already whole and complete. That's a lie. And also, there is no major threat to the way you're seeing it, But if you really feel that it's a threat, only you can convince yourself of it. And so this is why beliefs are very strong. When we have a belief, it's so strong that it happens to be our truth. We really feel it. We see it, and nobody can convince us of anything otherwise. No, but this is right. It's like I got a comment the other day and someone was saying, right is right and wrong is wrong, period. And I said, yeah, okay, so God knows. And they're like, no, but good is good and bad is bad. It's like, so who's to say what's good and what's bad? Your perception is good and everyone else's is twisted and yours is like in line with most people. So it must be good, right? No, it's just a perception. There is no good and bad. Take the flat tire, for example. The flat tire happened. We can all say, well, you can't pretend and spiritually bypass and say, oh, love and light, flat tire. It's so good. Flat tire. The flat tire happened because God gave you a flat tire. Why? Because 2 minutes later, it would have been up the street, hit by a train, gone. And there was work you needed to do here. It saved you from leaving this life. Is that good or bad now? We don't know. We never saw that part. We just saw the part of the shitty tire and getting to work late. And we curse and say, God, why'd you give me the flat tire? Why? It's like, no, blessed be this flat tire. I know there's a reason I'm getting this, whatever this is, the pain or the dessert, whatever's coming is coming for a reason. And its only reason is that the divine wants me to ascend. The divine wants me to heal. The divine wants me to grow. The divine wants to bring me home. Everything that happens in our world is all to help us grow spiritually, for us to ascend as better collective individuals here, closer to the divine. So even if we're on the path of destruction, even if we're hitting rock bottom, addictions, debauchery, we have to walk that road. Now, we don't have to do it, but that might be our path. And story upon story of like addicts that had to hit rock bottom in order for them to change their world, to do things different. Had I not got that one last hit and sent to the hospital, I probably would have still been doing the heroin and not have, fixed up my life and not had done this and then not done that. And I would have still been, living on the streets. But because that one time that, I almost died, and people are like, ooh, you almost died. That's bad. I wouldn't want to almost die. No, this person had to almost die for them to get off heroin. They're hitting rock bottom. Everyone's rock bottom is a part of their ascension. We're all ascending. Some look like they're going way off, and the way off is actually getting them back in line. But the whole thing is getting closer back to the divine, closer back to God, closer back to home. So you're a divine being. You're getting called closer back to God through your ascension so that you know your divine nature. And your divine nature isn't ego. Your divine nature isn't all of this desire and lust and trying to attain and fill some void. And your identity isn't trying to not be this and not be that and resist what reality is. Your divine nature is to be completely in this present moment with no expectation of what this means or judgment of what it means, or expecting that to happen and trying to manipulate energy so it could be more in line with what I desire and less about, the fear that I have here. So I'm going to keep preventing the broccoli in my teeth. Now, this doesn't mean you just sit there and be like, oh, well, life's going to happen anyway, so I just don't give a rat's behind. But this is being completely in flow with the divine, in flow state. Divine unfolds, and I make decisions from the heart. I make decisions from the heart, not from the ego, not from the fear, not from the goblins, not from the shadow, not from the subconscious, not from all the trauma I had since I was a child that's in the driver's seat, but I'm fully conscious of what I'm saying and what I'm doing in this present moment because it's for the greatest good of love, not so I can prevent something that selfishly I want for myself, like is some sort of pain, or to attain something selfishly from what I want for myself. So you're learning about unconditional love here, okay? And love is when we have a true connection to the divine, because God is love. And when we sense God's love, we start to see it in everyone and everything. And so through relationship, we're really connecting with love, and we're in relationship with everyone and everything. And so I feel like you're being reflected this mirror of love. God's love is being shown to you, and you don't quite see it just yet, And you might think you know love, but this love is transactional. This love might be based on fear. This love might be the love you've always known. And it's not saying it's bad. There's no bad and good, remember, but it's the only love to the capacity you know. You don't know the sweet without the sour. You don't know the dark without the light. And so the love you know is the love you know. And that's the love you show. But there's something deeper here. There's the unconditional God love that is absolutely driven from heart space with no ego, no expectations. It completely accepts reality as it is. It doesn't try to contort it. It doesn't try to make it something else. It doesn't run from anything. It doesn't try to seek or attain. It doesn't put on a song and dance. It accepts reality as it is, and it falls in love with reality and says, thank you, God, for this flat tire. Because without this, maybe there would have been something else. And I know this is for my highest good. My highest good is bringing me everything exactly perfect as it should. And this is what I trust, because I trust the divine, and I trust that I'm being shown exactly what I need to. And having that constant sort of belief that things are happening and unfolding exactly as they should. Okay, I am the answer. So whatever's happening is like, there's not something out there, that you're needing more to seek or to be or to do. That is separation consciousness. So really what I'm getting from this is there is no out there, there is no seeking. There is no separate self. There is nothing that you're going to finally attain that's going to make this better. It's like whatever is here right now is the answer. And that's you. You're a divine being. You're just seeing and carrying a lot of the other stuff that's not you. And so all that's what's not you, the mirage needs to sort of fall away. So all you see is yourself. Okay. And this wavering is like, that is what we need to sort of stand on and fully believe and have conviction with this. Because I truly feel like we can't start anything new until we sort through this, because this is the journey and the path. Whoever's clicked on this pile is on. And so we might be like, I just want something fresh, or I want to move on, or I want something new, or like we're craving to move on with our life. And Spirit's saying, yes, but this is a part of the life journey. We have to work through this according to this journey is how it's written, or how it needs to be experienced before we can open the door to the new. Because Spirit knows when you open the door to the new, you have to be in a certain energy. And if you were to open it prematurely, your whole world would be completely different than how Spirit intends it to be. So the door will open in divine timing. The new will happen exactly as it should, when I'm in the proper energy, because this is all about energy, karma. And so I feel like your solid self, the feel goods that you want, because I think you want to feel confident, you want to feel secure, you want to feel, like we did in the ego when we felt good, because we could have had an ego that was sort of healthy, quote unquote. Okay, there's no such thing as a healthy ego, but an ego that made us feel good. I am the CEO. I am attractive. I am rich. I am spiritual. I am so wonderful. I take care of the poor. I make good money. I am successful. Egos and more egos. We're none of those things. All we are is this present moment without all of those attachments, without all of that story. Okay. And so we have to undo that. That doesn't mean we can't enjoy good things. We can't partake in the world, and enjoy the blessings. But when we attach to it, saying, I am the person who created this, then we're not humble. We're not seeing that, no, the divine's the one that brought that into our world, and the divine can take it away. And when the divine taketh away, it will taketh away. And then we have a complete sort of existential crisis, because it was never ours to begin with. We were never that person or that thing that we thought we were. And so we might have that experience. I experienced being a mother, but if I truly, truly got attached to the mothering, when my child dies and when my child moves, it's suffering like beyond anything. Now, I'm not saying don't suffer if your child passes. Of course it's suffering, but it's a pain and it's a process, and we get over processes by healing. And so when we are really attached to a belief, heavily anchored and hooked into that story, the suffering is intense, and the suffering can go on forever and ever and ever. And so right now, if we experience pain, let the pain be there and say, Spirit, thank you for this flat tire pain, whatever this might be. It might be more than a flat tire, but it's all for a reason. And I know that the new beginning will come, and I know that you're prepping me. And so thank you so much for this blessing, because I know that this is all for my greatest good. And I trust that whatever unfolds is for my highest good when it should unfold. And now I'm not trying to chase it to make it happen faster than it need be. It will happen when it happens, and I am ready. And guess what happens? The divine sees you've done the work, and then the new, you're in right energy. But when we're like, divine, like, when will this happen? And why am I still suffering? And why? It's like, no, we're still choosing to see that belief. We're still not undoing the ego. There is no suffering. There's the pain. And then there's the choice to stay in suffering or to deal and see through the goblins. The choice is always ours, And this isn't spiritually bypassing and going, la, 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 I don't see goblins. It's like, if you see goblins, you really do. Then say, I'm in mirage. I'm in ego. I'm seeing things that aren't there. I believe it to be true because I've been conditioned to believe this thing is really true, that I'm really on Pluto. But it's a dream. It doesn't exist. The devil's not there. It's just a shadow. We have to work through this, So I could go on forever. Beautiful pile number one. I think what you're not seeing is your divinity fully, and it's making you wobbly, and we're in two worlds where we have duality within ourselves. Sometimes we feel divine and sometimes we're totally in the ego, and then it creates the discombobulation. It's like, I'd rather just be in fully ego and ignorance, but no, this is the process, and we have to be seeing two so that we know what one is. And what the one is that you are is the divine light, and that is true. With a capital T. Everything else is just a perception, It's an identity, and you could choose to believe the unicorn all you want. Doesn't mean you're more unicorn because you believe it, So, beautiful angel, this is your reading. I hope this helped you. I love you very much, and I will see you at the next one. Bye-bye. Hello, gorgeous angels. Pile number 2, you guys picked the card of trust. Let's get into your reading. So we have pre-shuffled oracle cards. I've not looked at them. I asked Spirit specifically what it is that pile 2 is not seeing. What aren't they understanding just yet? Maybe it's in your blind spot. Maybe you have a misconception. Maybe you're just completely oblivious to whatever this is. Okay, it could be a part of yourself, could be what's going on around you. I don't know. Take the energy. If it resonates or not, then it's up to you and the divine to tell. Okay, and if it doesn't resonate, go check out another pile if you want. Okay, and don't force anything to fit. These are collective readings. Lots of people come through here, okay? So not everything is going to be exactly specific to your situation. So energy is on a scale, and it comes through very pointed in order for me to channel and read it. So you could take it on however scale you want, but it's that flavor of energy that comes through, okay? So let's take a look at what you have. You have 61, fundamental injury, stress level, suffering, misfortune, hardship, sadness, pain, distress, and nightmare. Number 7, type 7, the enthusiast, thinking center between pleasure and pain. With the green ray, which is our heart chakra, we have a lot of green here, lots of heart chakra energy. So this isn't good, suffering. Obviously, when we're suffering, we know that there is some sort of ego in action. Okay, because only through an ego or a false self do we have a suffering experience, okay? Because pain will happen. Painful situations are always happening, whether they're, positive experience or a more negative experience, they're unfolding. But whether we're suffering is something that's going on within, okay? So 7 is a number of faith, wisdom, reflection, understanding. 7 is the chariot, the tower in the tarot, so that's Cancer energy, about shadow integration. Tower could be the deconstruction of the false self. 7's about spirituality, intellect, personal growth, solitude, and metaphysics. Let's keep going. 33, quest for answers. Oh my goodness, ego level stability, legitimacy of authority, security concept, self-confidence, loyalty concept, mental calming, finding support. Type 6, then the loyalist, thinking center between mistrust and trust. So 6 is the number of the lovers. It's also the number of the devil here. So we have Capricorn and Gemini energy. 6 is about problem solving, compassion, harmony. It's about community. It's about love. It's about healing. It's about service. 33 is also a master number. Reproduction, creativity, humor, Christ consciousness, and joy, and harmony. Okay, so 55, another master number. Wow, lots of synchronicities. You guys might be seeing a lot of these numbers. So 55 is change is the only constant, divinely orchestrated change. So ego's pitfall, stress level, fanaticism, excessive sense of duty, fixation on dogmas, impatience, intolerance, ideal of perfection, judgment of others. Type 1, the perfectionist, the instinctive center between control and letting go. Note the 1 here. So 1 is new beginnings. 1 is potential opportunities. 1 is independence. 1 is will, beginning, pioneering, individuality. 1 is the Fool, first card in the tarot, which is all about leaving the baggage behind. It's new beginning. That's Aquarius energy. 1 is also Magician, which is about manifestation. And that's more Gemini energy, Virgo energy. Okay. And then we have enabling, 65 or number 11, more ones, 111. Okay, I'm seeing 111. You might see 111. 11 is a master number, divine inspiration and synchronicity, and the encouragement to keep going. So blind spot oracle, you got enabling. And then we have the fox. And so fox could be sneaky, deceitful, a need to be strategic, think on our feet, strategizing or planning, but it's a 7 swords type energy, okay? And we have Ash, 33, another master number. Look at this, 3333. So you might be seeing 4 threes as an angel number. Okay, and Ash, it could be this tower energy of the deconstruction, because after fire, we're left with the ash, right? But it's like it's almost like we have to allow something to go through the transmutation process, burning away of something for it to become ash. So 3s are about growth, relationships, initial success, creativity, joy, communication, self-expression, groups, fun. And we have the card of comfort. It says the trigger statement, people cannot be trusted. And the true statement, I trust my heart. if some of you guys were called to one and you were undecided, take this as sort of an indicator to go check out one, okay? So Marjoram, it says, your big, beautiful heart is ready to open. Trust that you will be able to discern who is best to walk with you. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Okay, let me sit here with this energy. Actually, I almost forgot. I want to put some tarot here as well to give us a little bit more. And then I'll start to channel, okay? For pile number 2, Spirit. What is not being shown to them at this time that they are not seeing or understanding? So we have Be Here Now, and that's the 2 of Pentacles. We have Wisdom, which is the World card. I just heard End Indecision. So you're sitting on a choice probably here. Wait, where was it? With the Lovers? Maybe a choice in love, maybe a choice in a certain direction in regards to a partnership or something. Definitely something coming to a close here. Okay, dogs talk about loyalty and friendship. Okay, and then we have 9 Pentacles. 9 Pentacles is the card of self, confidence, independence. It's like having our material world in order. Okay, it's a satisfaction with the Rose. Roses to me talk about romance. So now again, I'm getting a relationship coming through. Okay, we have the 9 of Cups, and it says indulgence, and it's in reverse. Yeah, I'm getting pile 1 energy again. If you are called, okay, it's pulling through yet again. And we have 12 of Cups, and it says Voyager. 12 of Cups. I'm so sorry. You guys are like, what the hell is that? The Knight of Cups. Okay, that's the 12. Knight of Cups. Voyager. It's in reverse, clarifying the 9 Cups in reverse. Why is the World here? We have 5 Wands, which came out for pile 1 as well. It says competition. And finally, why is the 9? I'm going to take the one that revealed itself, the 9 Pentacle here. You have the 8 of Cups, separation. Okay, and then we have 2 Swords, restraint. 2's about decisions, balance, duality, choices. Okay, duality would be what? The separate self? Okay, this message is coming through quite strong, but let me channel what this is. What's under 2 Swords? We have 9 Wands. Yeah, okay, 9s. 99 is a master number, being the change you wish to see and helping humanity to release what no longer works. Okay, 9's about fruition, completion, fulfillment, wisdom, closure, which is this world here. And yeah, service to humanity, which we pretty much got with the 99. So this is bigger than just you here. There's another 9 here too, by the way. We have 999. All right. Okay, beautiful angel. Remember, this could be your energy or energy of someone you're dealing with around you. Attribute it as you see fit. I'm going to read it as your energy. You're your biggest sort of enemy right now, you know? And what you're not seeing right now is you're enabling this suffering to continue. And of course, you're not deciding to do that on purpose. Who would do that? If you knew how to not do it, you would not do it, right? But we're allowing the suffering to continue by continuing to do and have the same beliefs and the same mind story replay that enables this suffering. And what is that mind story you're telling yourself? There is a belief you have, okay, and we'll peel back what this is for all of you guys. It could be slight variations that's keeping this suffering alive. And it's really stemmed from you not trusting to allow yourself to have an experience that might put you off course somewhere that you might not be ready for. And so if I'm not ready and I believe it, then I'm not ready. And I will forever be not ready because I'll continuously believe it and think that it's going to come to me. The right time will come. There will be a point in time where I will be ready, or that I will then trust that the right person or the right situation, the right partner to partner up for my business, the right relationship person will come and all of a sudden make me feel better. No, you could be blessed with the most wonderful person and thing, and you would still say, not ready, don't trust forevermore. Why? Because this is an internal thing. The trust needs to be worked on and seen within self of how are we mistrusting then? How are we not extending trust? And how we're not doing it is because we have some experience whenever it happened, even if we remember it or not. Something has happened in the past, a past life, when we were a child, a past relationship, a parental wound, whatever was creating the wound, the shadow. It was an experience that made me not like it. And now I'm very vigilant here, even though maybe I'm not consciously saying that, I'm being vigilant and I'm like really, really cautious. Our subconscious is acting this way. Out of the subconscious, we're acting in certain ways. And how are we acting? When the proper, let's say, book publisher comes and we just don't trust it, or the person comes and offers us a business partnership, or the perfect person comes and says, hey, you want to go on a date? I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. I'll keep making excuses till the cows come home saying, no, it's not the time. They need to show me more of that. Or maybe they just need to do that. Or maybe we should date for 6 months. No, maybe we need to just move in together first before I, officially sort of allow myself to trust. Okay, maybe we need to be together maybe 5 years. Maybe then they need to we'll keep extending the maybe this and maybe that, because we're never going to trust this person or that situation. Now, does this mean this person or situation isn't going to let you down? Hell no. That's reality. Reality is people let you down. Now, if they're maliciously trying to backstab you on purpose, then that's karmically lessons that we're going through with people backstabbing and doing things, which happen all the time because it's part of the karmic agreements and we can't avoid it. It's going to happen. We can't elude it. We can't run away from it. But we're carrying the karma of how many years do we go mistrusting, being in suffering? So would I rather go 40 years not trusting and suffering, or 39 years of bliss, and all of a sudden I trust the wrong person and they stab me in the back by doing something, but it's it took me a year to get over it. But I had 39 years of bliss, or 40 years of I ain't trusting no one and I keep making stories. So you're faced with something here. I feel like there's a need for you to work through whatever the situation is. I'm not saying this person is trustworthy. I'm saying you're going to have many things, and I think there's something going on right now, a person, a situation that's in front of you that is asking you to trust it. I don't know if they're trustworthy or not, but it's asking you to trust it. How? Because it wants you to work through this trusting issue that's going on. And I call it an issue, but it's really just an illusion here, because there is no issue. It's just you feeding yourself a story or a line or a belief that you start to believe. So I feel like there is this belief you carry. And I'm seeing this 9 pentacle, and it is probably one of, I am only can trust myself, and I am comfortable and I have control when it's just me. And so that, although there is partial truths with that, of course, when we just got to worry about ourselves, it's a little easier in certain things, and in other ways, it's not good. There's always good and bad with everything. There's shadow and light with everything. But when it's too imbalanced, when it's too heavy in the independence that I push everyone out and I don't allow myself to trust, it's at the expense of me ever getting deep and being loved and experiencing something. And then I try to convince myself why I didn't trust and why it's not ready. And then I say, no, what I'm doing here makes sense because it feels right. No, it actually doesn't feel right to not connect to love. It actually doesn't feel right to be suspicious and on high alert. That's a form of suffering. And when we have the dial on mistrust for so long, we don't even know we're mistrusting. It's like the frog in boiling water. You put the frog in the lukewarm water, it's in there, and you start to turn the knob on, and the water's getting hotter and hotter and hotter, and it stays in there, and it doesn't realize it's getting boiled alive. And at the end, it's like dead, and the I don't like talking about the dead, poor little froggy, but the heat is on. And it's like super, super, super hot, but it got there gradually. But now the knob is on high alert. I feel like you're on high alert here about why you need to be independent and why you need to only trust self and why you can't let anyone in and why everything seems threatening and why, I don't know, like you're not superhuman. So do you want stability? Sure. Do you want to trust people? Yes. I'm not saying you're pushing away the trust on purpose. because you don't want to be enjoying yourself like everyone else, but you can't, according to you, enjoy yourself like everyone else because you're special. You have a special thing about you, and you're not special. You just have a shadow that needs to be seen through, that allows you to trust, that allows you to love, that allows you to let people in, that allows you to surrender to, if someone's going to hurt me, they're going to hurt me. I can't do anything about this. Yes, I could be, reasonably cautious, but I can't be anticipating it. I can't be withholding only until I get convinced otherwise, because I'll be withholding forever. Because people have shadow and light. So guess what? People who are the most beautiful angels with the most well-intentions, with big old hearts, have shadow. And sometimes they do something, and then what? Then I don't trust them again. It's like, whoa. Now I don't trust this person. See, they proved me right. It's like, no, you'll forever be looking at proving yourself right, because this shadow is trying to prove itself right. People can't be trusted. They're going to hurt me. Once I give into this, then I'm at the mercy of someone else and something. This is coming to a close. It's coming through a close through what? Through an experience here that you're going to see through your big old shadow. You're transmuting this energy until it no longer exists. Because right now I feel like you're your biggest competition, and we're seeing things as threatening, things, a bunch of things within us, or inner dialogue of why we can't trust. We're seeing that maybe this person's untrustworthy because they might go and stab us in the back, or cheat on us, or like sell our idea so they can't be my business partner, or like all sorts of ideas that could happen. Sure, it could happen. It could also happen that there's a tornado through here, but then whatever, like I don't know, in 10,000 days, there's no tornado. And in 1 out of 10,000, there's a tornado here all of a sudden. I'm not going to live in the circumstances of the tornado when it's unlikely, but yes, it could happen. And so what we're calibrating to is the fact that we're not saying, no, a tornado won't happen, it's okay. No, I know that the tornado can come and will come, because that's a part of life. Somebody will do something that hurts me, whether they're doing it sneakily, whether they're doing it to hurt me maliciously, or whether they're just in shadow and they do it and I'm a poor bystander. But either which way, they're going to do something and it's going to make me feel a certain way. And I need to just know that that is a part of life, that there's shadow and there's light. And sometimes it's pleasant experience, and sometimes there's experiences I don't like. But when I have something I don't like, I recognize it as an experience that's happened for me, for my growth, for my healing, for me to close things out. And when things happen for the good, I don't attach to it and cling to it and say, okay, now I always want to feel this goodness. Of course we want to feel good most of the time. But if we always felt good ever since birth, forever, we wouldn't know what feeling good feels like, because that's been our normal state. We just be your norm, just like the frog and the knob that I was talking about. So this is why we have polarity, duality, the shadow and the light, the pain and the good. The good is fleeting. It manifests. You have the ice cream cone and the dessert, and then it's over. You ate it, and then you have a flat tire, and it's shitty, and then you get home and whatever, you fix it. So there's the shitty, okay, manifestations, the shadow, the dark, the negative, whatever you want to call it. You can call it bad. It's not bad. It's happening for you, just like the flat tire used in pile 1. So we experience something we don't like necessarily, like a flat tire, and we can't lie and say, no, it's so great. No, but what we can do is say, this flat tire happened because I know that the divine is perfect in its manifestations. And so this flat tire happened for a very good reason, and I might not see it, because who am I, unless I'm an ego, to think that I know more than the divine of why that flat tire shouldn't have happened and should have happened. It happened to save me from getting hit by a train up the street 2 minutes later. That's why I got the flat tire. I didn't know that. I didn't see that. I was just swearing at my tire, swearing at God, swearing at everyone. Now I'm late for work. Now I don't have a tire. Now that puts me out $500, blah, 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 blah. All we're seeing is the negative. And then that whole week could be ruined by that, because we chose to see that. But if we knew and God touched us on the shoulder and said, hey, child, did you know that 2 minutes later you would have been smoked by that train? We would have been living in the clouds, swinging from the chandelier. Woo! Look at me. I'm alive. Same thing happened. 2 different perspectives. So perspective is everything here. We're enabling some form of suffering. You don't need to be in suffering. You're choosing to be in suffering because there's something going on. Now, like I said, it's not a choice so much as hit the button and now I trust. If it was that easy, we'd all do it. It's saying the choice right now is for you to look at the fact that you're not trusting. And this is generated from an experience that you had. And so we need to reconcile that experience. We need to make peace with what's happened, not necessarily forgive that person, and go tell them I'm sorry because I have to do this in order to move on, because I want a relationship, because I want a new partner. No, we got to do this so that we can reconcile energies within us. So we're not in this duality. So we're not suffering from that experience. We make peace with whatever has happened naturally through really reflecting and sitting with that and reconciling. That happened not to punish me. Something has happened, whatever it happened. I don't know. Some of you guys might remember what's happened. Some of you guys might not, but you need to resonate with the fact that we're not trusting for this to be your pile. And it's happened through an experience, whatever it might be. If you know what it was, then this is asking you to sit with that experience and feel it through. There is no right, there is no wrong. There's just allowing yourself to feel. People did what they knew with the best what they had, even if they were being mean and malicious. That's the best they had. That's what the divine was dishing out. Why? Because divine was giving me a lesson, maybe them a lesson. Again, the car tire, the train up the street. Maybe there was something more to this, We don't know. We don't see. Maybe it was a blessing in disguise. Who knows right now, And this isn't enabling victimhood and saying you're supposed to be treated this way. No, this is all saying experiences will happen as the divine unfolds it. There's a need for us to look at it from the eyes of the neutral observer and not through the eyes of judgment. This was good. This was bad. This person was hurting me. This was untrusting. This person is this and that happened. And I was gullible and I was that. And I don't want to be vulnerable. I don't want to be seen like a fool. So right now we have a limitation on how we can love and who we can love and when it's okay and when it's not. That's all illusion. And we believe, or we're buying that story so much so to protect ourselves. And so we enable this suffering because now it's limiting who can come in our world. Maybe it's limiting certain people that maybe could give us love, because now I'm 8 swords. And so I'm boxing out everything that's there. And I'm only allowing whatever's in this vicinity to be acceptable. Because my ego story, my big belief that's integrated says only this is acceptable. But who are you to say only that's acceptable? Your trauma is saying only this is acceptable. Your perception is saying only this is acceptable. Spirit is saying all things are going to happen. There's unlimited amount of possibilities and combinations. That to have a scope like this limits so many potential opportunities. It could be the absolute perfect partner, and you're blocking them out with this thought that you have, that the ego knows. And so there's a need to humble ourselves and say, the divine knows. I know nothing. And so when I try to concoct certain ways of protecting myself by withholding, second guessing, sneaking around, not being completely honest, having these beliefs, all of this was taught to me through either seeing people behave like this, or again, I had an experience and it made me act like this. And so it's kept me safe all along. That's also false. You might think that that's true, that it will keep you safe because it's been your experience. But what Spirit's talking about is even if we, we do something many, many times and then we keep proving it to ourselves, it's like, yeah, see, it is true. It's like, no, you're just strengthening your own belief. And the more you strengthen your belief, the more it builds this thick cord to it. And the more we start to see it in that way, And so there's a very strong belief you have that what you're doing is protecting yourself and that you're seeing it accurately. It's like you're not. All you're creating is suffering because you're limiting your potential or your possibility of a partnership. And so this isn't about being gullible and now on the other side. I trust everyone. I'm completely lacking discernment. No, we still have discernment. But this is on hyper alert. This is like hyperly not trusting people and letting them in. And they got to be this, that, and the other before I do it. No, this is discernment. If I have a reason to be cautious, then Spirit will guide me, that I trust myself. I don't need to trust that person. I could trust myself to make wise decisions, to be, wise enough about what I do. But right now there's a heavy withholding and we might think we're wise. No. I'm just doing this because I am being discerning. No, it's your ego created from a shadowy part that got hurt. And now it's defending itself, protecting itself, boxing people out, not trusting, saying it's not ready, saying I'm the only one that I can trust. And then we find ourselves by ourselves wondering what happened. What happened is we boxed everything out. We had a belief we thought was so true. We thought we would protect ourselves. 40 years later, we find ourselves completely in bubble wrap, So and we're not happy emotionally. We might think we are. It's all about self here. This is all about self. And so big things coming to close. And I think it's an experience you're having. I don't know if it's a relationship, just a big experience. Maybe the first time you published a book. Maybe it's your first time opening a business. It's asking you to trust. It's asking you to do something. It's maybe asking you to go against what you were conditioned to believe, or what you always thought was true. I always was the single person. I never believed in this. Who cares really at the end of the day what you believed, what you saw with your eyes working? It's like, but I see it with my eyes. It's like, yes, 8 billion people in the world with 8 billion perspectives, they also see with their eyes. They also can say their story is true. They can also say, well, I see with my eyes that marriage always works because my parents are married for 40 years. My siblings are all engaged and some are married for 20 years. It lasts forever. And that I see with my eyes. Meanwhile, you're on the other side of the world saying, what do you mean? Marriage fails. There's no such thing as a great marriage. People always get divorced. It doesn't last longer than 6 months. It all leads to, that's your perception. They're both accurate. They're both the life experience through the eyes. And so one's not more real than the other, although there's only one real truth. And the truth is reality is a mixture of both. It's not one or, and we like to believe it's our way because we've seen it with our eyes. So of course it has to be right. I seen it. I proved it. I strengthened my belief in it. It's like, no, all you did was strengthen your belief of an illusion that's not real. It's limiting. It's keeping it boxed. It's keeping your options limited. So this is giving you an opportunity to step outside of those limitations, to know that the divine has your back, to trust that you have your own back, to not withhold, to transmute this and put yourself in the uncomfortable position of trust. And the more you put yourself in the uncomfortable position of trust, the more you transmute to that ego within you, and the less you suffer. It's not all of a sudden you put yourself out there once and it's healed. No, we got to do it over a period of time. The suffering was created over a period of time. The undoing or transmutation of this lack of trust has to be undone over a period of time. We have to be patient. We have to keep trusting in it, keep believing in that, believe in your consistent ability to put yourself in the trusting position that it will show itself. Because what we'll do is the minute someone does something untrusting, we say, see, I trusted, this would happen. And we keep falling back on that. That's the choice. It's like, remember what I said about the flat tire? Yes, it's going to happen. It's not a question of whether it's going to happen. It will happen. People do things that are hurtful, but we can still trust. Trust the process that when things that happen, even if they're hurtful, it's for our greatest good. Maybe there's misunderstandings. Maybe they're in shadow. Maybe there's some blessing there. It's not necessarily bad. Yes, it might hurt. And when I say, well, wouldn't we want to avoid getting hurt? The only reason it hurts as deeply as it does is because we're attached to that belief. The stronger the belief, the stronger the ego, the stronger the suffering, the stronger it hurts when it gets ripped, when the belief gets ripped. And so this is why we can't get attached and hooked to our beliefs, because you get hooked to that, you think it's reality. And then the divine comes and slaps you in the face with the reality. And that's why we're all taken aback, whoa, what do you mean? Yeah, because your perception is only right from your relative perception or perspective. There's the real truth. And we can never be egoic enough to say we know what the real truth is. It's only one objective truth. That's God's truth and divine truth, reality as it is. And so when we try to tiptoe around it, try to think we're smarter and outsmart the universe by resisting and saying this will be the time, that will be the time, we're just damaging ourselves. We're prolonging our own happiness. Divine is saying, no, happiness is here right now. Come play, come get love. You're ready right now. And you're saying, whoa, wait. You're 30, you're 40, you're 50. Wait. Wait till they prove it. No, it's not going to come from the outside in. It's from the inside out. And it's calling and flagging you to address this, because it's you who's going to address this and fix this, not the trusting person who's going to come forward and then you trust. No. So you're going to trust yourself to get hurt again, essentially. And then when you get hurt, it's like, oh, you mean it wasn't that bad? All that anticipation. I wasted 40 years trying to protect myself from getting hurt like this. It wasn't that bad because I wasn't hooked. It's like knowing that the bad happens, the pain happens. The pain will happen. The flat tires happen. It's how we see when it happens and how we attach to that. the belief we have to it, the hook we get to it, if you're attached to it and you make stories to it and you feed it, now you're completely upside down and suffering, you know? And you believe that story to be super, super true. So Spirit's saying you're a fighter, you're a warrior, okay? But you have your back up and you're defensive and you're indecisive and it's slowing you down and you're not moving. And Spirit's saying, put this behind you. It's time to close this out. It's time to trust. There's no need to be by yourself. Yes, it's great to have trust in self, but there's also a need to trust other, because you and other are one. Okay? You and other are one. You're not separate. You're not a separate self. There is no them versus you. And if anyone is acting in that way, they are in shadow. They're still in duality. They're not open to unity consciousness. They don't see that you are them. And so they're probably loving from a transactional place of survival and fear. We don't want to be with someone who's just trying to survive. Of course, they're going to slight you because they're acting from shadow. True love knows that we're one and the same, that you are me and I am you. I'm not going to slight you, because when I slight you, I slight me. Why would I do this? You know, that doesn't mean that I'm not shadow, and I might say something hurtful without intending, that you might get hurt, you know, but I'm not intending on hurting you. And so there's a need to accept and to forgive. And even then, there's really not a forgiveness, because if I act from shadow, it's not I'm doing it on purpose. There's nothing really there to forgive about me. It's just knowing that I am in my energy and you are in your energy. And so I accept you as you are, trusting that you're not trying to do something to maliciously hurt me, you know. But then when you start withholding, when I know there's a truer version of you and you're sort of manipulating energy, then I know you're not your truest self. Then I'm hurt. And so someone around you might be very hurt, you know, because you're not being trusting. There's a withholding energy here, and you're suffering because of it, and people around you. So this is your message, pile number 2. I hope this helped you. I love you guys so much. If you're drawn to another pile, I will see you there. All right. Bye-bye. Hello, gorgeous angels. Pile number 2, you guys picked the card of accountability. You brave souls. So it wasn't coming into focus initially. And this could definitely be like an energy of like a need to take, not necessarily you, okay? Because again, this is about what we're not seeing, maybe what we're not understanding, or what's not being visible to us, okay? So this could be your energy, someone around you. We'll put the picture all together as I lay the cards out, but it coming in and out, it's like someone needing to really take a hold of accountability, you know, to really see it and not be kind of maybe wishy-washy, like take partial accountability, you know? That's what I'm getting. It's like, it's not the full accountability. And so it's like, if you're not going to be fully in, then there could be like optics, you know, optics. It's like, I want to pretend like I'm accountable, but I'm really not fully taking accountability. So I'm making it appear, but I'm really doing something else. This is totally what I'm getting from this one here. Okay. So brave soul who picked accountability. We're looking at what it is you're not seeing or understanding, what's hidden from you or just misunderstood. Well, whatever this needs to be explained to you in a way that you can see energetically what spirit wants to say. You can go click straight away on your channeled message. But if you are working on your intuition and you do want to know whether this is the right pile for you, I do suggest you sit through this card layout and tie into my intuition, which is what you'll see, feel, or hear to determine whether this pile is for you. Okay, so we have 63 with fundamental injury, stress level, separation, number 9, estrangement, divorce, loss, grief, breakup, and departure. Type 9, the peacemaker, instinctive center between forgetting and asserting oneself. So this is solar plexus energy. 9 is the energy of the hermit and the moon. So we could have some subconscious, some emotions here. This is Virgo, Cancer energy. Let's keep going. And we have the card of Clove, presence. Why? Okay, so the trigger statement is, why did this happen to me? The true statement is, how did this happen for me? Know that you are the star of your life, my dear. You are the lead and the audience is here for you. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, 27, another 9. So 99. Master number, being the change you wish to see and helping humanity to release what no longer works. A more solar plexus, okay, 27. It says, conscious awakening, ego level avoidance. self-forgetfulness tendency, a lack of self-expression, passivity, procrastination, unused potential, fear of confrontation. Type 9, the peacemaker, instinctive center between forgetting and asserting one's self. She's barefoot. I don't know why I had to point that out. So if you're barefoot right now, maybe you're sitting outside, maybe your feet are cold. That's coming through for someone as confirmation, okay? So I'll let you look at that too. She's there sitting with a red blanket. I don't know if something gets triggered here with your, whether you resonate with that or don't or whatever, some synchronistic thing here. Okay, so 79 with the number 7. So 7 is faith, wisdom, reflection, understanding, spirituality, intellect, personal growth, solitude, and metaphysics. It says dark night of the soul, stress level, unsatisfaction, loss of carefreeness, despair at reality, severe pain, lack of interest, loss of pleasure, loss of enthusiasm. Type 7, the enthusiast thinking center between pleasure and pain. Then we have the green ray, which is the heart chakra. Dark night of the soul. Wow. Okay. And then in the blind spot oracle, we have blinding pessimism, 58. Card 13 is Scorpio energy. That's transformation. Okay. And 13 is 4, which is all about structure, foundations, and stability and planning. So that's Scorpio and Aries energy. Yeah. Also about problem solving. Okay, so we have friend and a bunny, and we have the golden rose, 58. Okay, so let's move this over here. So 258s actually. So you might be seeing 5858 as an angel number. That definitely could be something, okay, for you. Put that in the comments if there is something interesting with the angel number 5858. I'm curious to know, okay, what that means, but that's another 13 there. So Scorpio energy, transformation, death. This card fell exactly like that in my lap. We're looking at pile number 3, spirit, and what it is they're not seeing or understanding in regards to what's going on energetically around them right here, right now. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 3. Thank you so much, pile 3, for allowing me to tap into your energy, the energy around you at this time. I'm so blessed to be here doing a reading. All right, those felt funny. So I don't read bottom of the deck reverse. We have 8 cups. 8 cups. I think I read this as 8 swords in the last pile. 8 cups and 10 swords. Okay. And we have the Knight of Cups in the sideways position. And we have the 4 of Cups in the reverse. It says Frozen. This is Voyageur. This says Understanding, and this is the Star energy. And we have card 20, which is the Judgment. It says Liberation. It's in reverse. And we have the Lovers, and it says Love, and there's 2 candles. It's in reverse. Gemini energy. And we have 10 Wands, Overload. And here we have 5 swords and 3 cups, Harmony and Arrogance. Okay. Let me tap into this, okay? It's coming through already, but let me channel what this is. You can go skip ahead. Okay. I don't want to beat you too bad, you know, because I feel you've been beaten down with a stick. Okay, you or whoever's energy I'm reading here, which could be someone around you. It's eroded a lot of parts of you here, whatever your situation is. And for a lot of you guys, I do feel it's with someone who might not be behaving properly, you know. It's really, 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 really getting to you. It has been getting to you, and who knows for how long. You can't take it no more. So I don't want to yell at you, okay? This isn't yelling at you, but I'm going to passionately deliver this message. If it's too intense for you to take, you don't have to be here, okay? Beautiful angel, you might want to come back. And what I'm going to tell you here is about what's in your power, okay? Your power cannot be taken away less than due to someone else, whether they have more power or less power. Whatever happens external from you, it doesn't impact your inner light. Your inner light is never, 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 never impacted by anything that's going on out there. Your divine nature, your beautiful essence can't be. The only thing that can be is the identity we create with an ego, the story we believe of the person that we are. That's the person that could get beaten, That's the person that could all of a sudden start to believe in the story and believe in the burden and believe in the beat down. And so right now, I'm not going to try to change a lot of your sort of the way that you're doing it, because one, I do feel that there's a need for us to do more healing in regards to how we engage with other people and take more accountability when we're not this low. Because right now, if I say take more accountability, you'd snap. You'd say, I can't do anymore. I've done it all and did, and you go on forever. Guess what's talking to me right now? It's the ego. That's the ego, the doer. I did. Who's the I that's doing anything? There is no doer. There is no I. There's just your divine light. That's it. The minute we start to explain ourselves, justify things, saying what we did was right and what that person did was wrong, we're now creating an identity, an ego, a separate self. That version of you is not the real version of you. It's a created identity. It's creating your pain and your suffering. It's the one that's feeling disappointment. It's the one that feels like it got beat with a stick. Okay, but when we're in this mode, no matter what I say to you like this, it's like you need a pump up is what I feel. But I'm not going to just sugarcoat this and pump you up and give you all a bunch of fluff. But I will read some positives here, Positives is yes, you most likely are dealing with unrealistic people in heavy shadow situations. You are right about this, There is a truth. There is a reality. Okay, and so you're not completely delulu here. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying when we're dealing with the worst of them, even in the worst of them, even when we're in the sledges of it, which I believe you truly are, there is truth to that. I'm not going to take that away from you. But the ego wants to believe it's all that bad and it's all that person and it's all that. It's like, no, actually, there's two. There's two sides always to everything with energy. And it's the alchemy of the two that created the substance. You're one. You can't be nil. You exist. You're a chemistry. Your chemistry with all of your environment and all the people create a chemistry. It's a synergy. You and another thing, you and another person are going to create a something. Whatever the you and that person create, the two create the third thing. The third thing isn't working. Why are they more? Their chemistry is more tainted. No, then yes, they could have more shadow. Yes, they could be in sort of shitty sort of chemistry, but your chemistry with this chemistry creates the thing you don't like. So your chemistry is a part of the problem here. But it takes two, and you could be 50% of that equation. Okay, with the temperance, she has 1 cup. You're not nil. You're something. You're 1 cup. And I don't care if you're love and light and kind, and you could say, well, I'm all of these beautiful, wonderful things. Says who? Who's the judge here? And I'm going to bring this whole thing again, and hopefully this person's back. This person who commented on one of my videos who was saying, like, there's only right and wrong, period. Right and wrong. Says who? Says you. Because you know more than God, and God's saying this right, this wrong. No, there's light and there's dark. Okay, it's polarity, it's energy, it's positive and negative. It's contracting and expanding is what it is. It might not feel good. That doesn't mean it's bad. And I use the analogy of a flat tire for every single reading today, because we have a flat tire and people say, well, you can't turn it around and spiritually bypass and say, it's great, it's so happy. Look at this tire, it's flat, woohoo. No. But what we can say is, I know this flat tire happened because the alternative could have been something that I don't know that could have been way worse. Because I could have went 2 minutes up the street and got smoked by a train. And so the divine put a flat tire in my way for a very good reason. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Lord. Because whatever's unfolding is unfolding for you, not to you. And once you start seeing the flat tire as the flat tire, and now I miss work, and now and when I tell you, well, a flat tire is good, you're going to say you're Delulu. Don't convince me a flat tire is good. You don't want to hear that when you're in this mood. You don't. And that's why I said, if I say anything to you, you're having a flat tire right now. So right now it's like, if I start talking to you about a good flat tire, you're going to punch me in the nose. You don't want to hear the good flat tire. You hate to hear about the good flat tire. You want to bitch and scream and throw your wrench at the tire. And you're allowed to do that. You're allowed to do that. This flat tire is a pain in the ass, you know? Like, I feel your pain. It's annoying as fuck. Okay? You had a flat tire, and I'm telling you, the divine is giving you this flat tire for a very good reason. You're not seeing it. It doesn't feel good. You're allowed to not feel good. That's allowed, you know, but don't get stuck in that whole, ruining the whole time now. The whole week we keep talking about the tire now, you know. It's like, now I had to take it to the garage, and it was late for work, and that's why I didn't get this paper on time. And then it's put me out $400. And then because I went to the bus, I didn't end up seeing my sister. My sister ended up finding, you know, $10 on the floor, and that's the $10 I could have used when blah, blah, blah. And we make up all of the story because of what happened. It's like, no, the only thing that happened was the flat tire has happened. The shitty situation, okay, it doesn't feel good. But we don't call it bad because we don't know necessarily what is bad. It happened for a reason. And so there's ups and there's downs. There's dark and there's light. And only the divine, only God knows why we experience light sometimes and why we experience dark sometimes, you know. The dessert makes us happy. Sex makes us happy. Love makes us happy. Friendship makes us happy. Dog bites don't. It's getting stung by a bee doesn't. The flat tire doesn't. It doesn't feel good, but it doesn't mean it's bad. Bee doesn't know it's bad when I'm doing this. It's surviving. It's not, okay, I'm going to be bad now. Sting, sting, sting. No, it's an experience. It's a reality that happens. Bees sting. Flat tires happen. And so this shadowy stuff that happens is happening. Okay, you just happen to be dealing in a shadowy situation because I feel it's with a person who's full of shadow. How do we deal with this? The only thing we can do is control our own sort of energy as best as we can. Now, this doesn't mean be controlling. This means controlling our energy by observing it and being actually aware. I'm letting my thoughts sort of run me now. I'm letting my negative thoughts speak sort of dictate now what I'm going to do. I'm going to go sulk over here. I'm going to go let it ruin my day. I'm going to go and feel bad about this. I'm going to go feel alone. I'm going to go perpetuate the separateness. I'm going to go feel like lackluster. I'm going to feel unloved. I'm going to go feel unwanted. I'm going to go feel disappointed. No, then you're choosing to do this. Yes, you could be feeling very intense, shitty feelings, but the feeling that you're feeling doesn't have to stay there and prolong. That's the choice. It's like the flat tire happened in the initial kick in the nuts. You know, it's like, duh, that sucks. And then we remember, oh yeah, okay, right, God, this is for me. I could have got smoked by the train. Yes. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Lord. I know you're doing this in my best favor. Right now, we're in separation consciousness. There's something going on out there that we don't like that's bad. If only this person became in line. If only this person did what I did. If only this person stepped up as much as I did. If only they were balanced. If only they cared as much as I did. As only if they worked the same amount of load I did. If only they did what I did. Because me, I am doing it right. They are doing it wrong. No, sorry. You're in one energy, they're in one energy. There's no right, there's no wrong. And you and this person together, you and the situation together are creating this dissatisfaction in your world. And you're like, why am I the one dissatisfied? Why aren't they then dissatisfied? It's because this is you choosing to do this for yourself. This has nothing to do with the other person. Your divine light cannot be impacted by somebody else unless you let it, unless you believe it. Right now, this person's inability to pick up the weight is making you feel like shit. Is making you feel even more burdened. But if I don't do it, who's going to do it? That is an ego talking. That is an excuse to keep it alive. It's like, I know more. I know more because I'm telling the universe that this is what needs to happen in order for it to get balanced, in order for it to get right. This is the right thing that needs to happen. How do we know? We don't know what's right, what's wrong. All you're doing is creating a 4-cup situation that Spirit's saying you can get out of. That's it. There's something here about you sort of having some vision of something But I also feel it's a mixture with a belief of something that we get hooked to. And it's not we, it's the ego, by the way, because your divine light doesn't need anything. But the ego sees and understands a vision of something that it wants, and it hooks to it. And now it's attached to that vision, that outcome. And so everything that's happening in that present moment, no, it's not it. And because I'm attached to the outcome of what I saw in my mind. And what I saw in my mind was some ideal thing, some vision of what I wanted. Instead of me saying, you know what, Spirit, I accept this flat tire. I'm no longer dreaming about the Lamborghini that I wanted. I'm no longer, and this isn't saying like just throw all your hopes out the window. This is saying fall in love with reality. The Spirit wants to give you beautiful things like Lamborghinis, like non-flat tires, like all this beautiful stuff, you know? But if we're too focused on the thing we do not have, the thing we're attached to, that we're hooked to, that the ego desires out there in the future, I can't see it now. It's saying, Spirit, everything you're giving to me is not a blessing. I don't like it. It's not this thing that I want. That's a bratty child. Because the universe says, today, my child, everything here is all at once on a big buffet table for you to explore. All of it. Everything here is still not good for you? No, I wanted this thing to happen in this way, exactly from that when that happened. Okay? I said I wasn't going to rip into you, but this is what I'm seeing. And it's like, listen, in the present moment, things are happening, the dark and the light, and they both come in and manifest whenever God says so. And we don't know which is for bad and which is for good. All we know is that we're experiencing it for a reason. God knows the reason. And once we start to accept it, it's really about accepting, not saying it's shitty, not saying there's something better, not prolonging it. And then that feeling, that void, that craving we have, the itch that can't get scratched because it's, it's 2 years down the road. It's never going to happen. I'm not seeing it. We're never going to be satisfied. It keeps getting pushed out. We keep creating that craving. We keep creating that illusion that one day I'll be happy, but it's not going to be here and it's not going to be now. Why not? Happiness is here right now. The kingdom is in your hand right here, right now. There is no future date. There is no future manifestation of something. There is no time. Just right here, right now, everything exists. And it's ready for you to enjoy it. You can celebrate with the universe right here. And so if we believe in some sort of timeline and some sort of manifestation, and then I'll be happy, we'll forever have that belief. And Spirit saying, no, let go of that and trust that you will get your wish. You will get fulfilled. And like I said, for a lot of you guys, maybe it's a relationship that's not coming in. It's like, I really wanted this. I had a wish of this, a vision of this. We're attached to outcome. Because this person's being a little bitch and we're feeling overwhelmed and over carrying this thing. Well, whose fault is that? You don't got to carry any of that. You're a divine being, a divine light who's ready for all of God's manifestations, saying right here, right now, I deserve, because I am a light being, just like everyone else deserves to be happy. It's not because I'm special I deserve it. It's not because I picked up all the stuff and my ego thought it was better or that it was good and the other person bad. So therefore I deserve it and they don't. They're in shadow. They're being mean. They're being stubborn. They're out sleeping around. They're out doing this. They're out cheating. They're out lying, stealing, and robbing. So what did Jesus say about visiting the people in the prisons and giving to the poor and visiting the prostitutes? He wasn't looking at his nose down on people. Those are the people that are suffering. They're more real than the people creating these spiritual egos and these egos that are saying, I'm carrying all the load. I'm being very spiritual. I'm being very nice. I'm being very the giver. No. They're both egos. Why are we giving? Why are we creating an ego? Because we want to attain something. We want some vision. We want to something for the ego, some sort of fulfillment, some sort of satisfaction. And we're not getting it. And then we're disappointed. And it's like, well, we're creating that with the ego. And this doesn't mean we're not deserving of having happiness. This doesn't mean we're not deserving of having a fulfilling relationship. This pile, whoever's clicked on here, what we're not seeing is that we're our worst enemy by the egoic story we're telling ourselves, that we are creating a dualistic universe. It's us in one energy that's good. And I am waiting here and the universe isn't delivering. Well, that's an expectation. Well, you're attached to an outcome. Well, your ego thinks it was good. Your ego thinks now's the time. It's all ego, thinking it deserves something and that now's the time and that this would have been long enough and good enough. And no, There is no time. There is no good. There is no bad. There's just what you have right here, right now. And this is what you're learning. It's like, accept what you have right here, right now. This doesn't mean settle. This doesn't mean put up with people that are being a pain in the ass. This is spirit. The flat tire is happening. This person's a pain in the butt. I see it. And I'm not resisting it, trying to change it, trying to force it, trying to make up stories, trying to make something good and bad. I am seeing this beautiful experience as divine, because everything in God's universe is divine, including this bratty person, including this flat tire experience. It's divine. Because if we knew we were being saved from a train wreck 2 minutes later, we would have been celebrating, feeling so alive, talking to everybody about how alive we are. Like put yourself right through it. Like, I almost got hit by a freaking train. Like, I got saved. Like, wow. Like, I'd be kissing God's feet, Like, wow, I'm so blessed, But here we are, it's just like, stupid tire. I'm going to throw my wrench at this fucking thing, And we're allowed to have those frustrations, like I said, but where are we on this scale? Spirit saying, yes, flat tire, my child. It's okay. It's okay. It's here to show you that this ego is trying to kick up a storm, that the ego self is being created and it's attaching to an outcome. The ego self is making goods and bads and dualistic worlds. And this is what spirit wants to heal. There is no separation. There is no out there. There's just reality. Things are happening. Things are manifesting, unmanifesting, shadow and light. We're to get balanced, not attached to an ego, not have any expectation of anything. Just be in reality and respond with the heart. Be open with the heart. Because there will be ups, there will be downs, and it's about how do we stay balanced here and not get attached. And then we're being swinging. This is really low experience, and I could really build on this and get very low, or I could attach to this high. And only this will satisfy me. And only this will make me happy. And only this. And it's like, no, Spirit's saying, no, you're not going to experience this and this and find what you're looking for. The only way you'll find what you're looking for is to get balance and to know that this exists and this exists. But you're a divine light. You're not getting hooked and believing stories of the ego. Because only the ego would attach and cling and try to chase and attain and desire and keep on the wheel and never be happy, always pushing it out to another date. It's never going to be fulfilled. It gets what it wants something else. It gets $5, it wants 10. It gets a cookie, it wants another, And so ego is only putting you on a race. And the ego is the separate self that tells you something here. Like, I was really being very good. Why am I getting the bad? No, that's an ego story. Good and bad. And I was this and I was that. You're not nothing. You're not even an I. You're just divine light. There's nothing you're doing. The divine is in control. You're not a doer. And so this is all about your state and flipping it on its side. Because I think you're really at a low here, And Spirit is saying, this will turn. And it will turn and we will experience positive again. But I assure you, you'll be here again. Unless you do this healing work, which is really identifying the ego, because being on that high and getting what you want, because there's something you really want, isn't going to make you heal this thing. And so this is why you're not getting what you want. Spirit is saying you're getting something better. You're going to heal this thing and then you're going to get something you want, but only when you heal this thing, like this thing, meaning your ego. You see through your egos, you resolve this, you get centered, you're not pulled on ego. This is all about you, ego transmutation, healing this thing. And then Spirit says, then you get your thing. But Spirit's not going to give you this thing all of a sudden because you're just still an ego. You don't learn anything. You just attach to it. And then what happens when this thing falls on its face? Now I'm back on here and now I'm still swinging. I'm still on this pendulum, still chasing, still resisting, still running, still trying to manipulate reality. It's like, no more manipulating reality. No more trying to seek and attain what you desire. There is nothing out there to desire and attain to that's going to bring you more fulfillment than right here, right now. Right here, right now is as good as it gets, even if it's with a flat tire. This is the best thing that could happen for you because it's for you and it's unfolding and it's divine and it's blessed. And it's really for a greater reason and a greater cause. And I feel like with all the 99 we were seeing, this is being the change you wish to see and helping humanity to release what no longer works. What doesn't work? Ego, separate self, separate identity, duality. All of this creates suffering, creates a universe that's not harmonious. You're on the path of healing this for yourself and for the collective. This is huge. Big, big, big learnings here. Big spiritual growth, big ascension. That's huge. That's more than me getting the cookie. I really wanted the cookie when I wanted the cookie. I get it. You want it. You will be blessed with a cookie and maybe a whole bag of cookies, maybe a whole factory of cookies. Spirit's saying you will get that, but this must be looked at and dealt with. All right. So in a practical way here, I think you had an argument with someone. Something's over. Something's over. Someone walked away. We had to walk away. Spirit is talking about harmony. Okay? This isn't your typical reading saying, "Ooh, this person will be back and there'll be reconciliation." But what I'm telling you is this person will be back and there'll be a reconciliation. You'll make peace. You'll make harmony. Okay? But it takes the temperance, your energy and this person's energy. And we could keep creating the same pendulum. Now it's happy and now it's miserable. Now it's happy, now it's miserable, and that doesn't mean bad things won't happen and good things won't happen, but it doesn't have to be so swinging. It could still be centered and good thing will happen and a thing will happen. It's like, but I'm balanced and I'm not swinging and I'm not swayed because I know how to work in harmony. And as you work in harmony, you attract to you other things in harmony. If it's not this person, it'll be another harmonious relationship or person or whatever. But I have a feeling that it's this person because I have a feeling this person is doing what you're doing and it's being mirrored. And they're probably equally as hurt, And you can say, well, they did it to themselves or whatever. Well, you're doing it to yourself. It's mirrored. We can make all sorts of reasons why that person deserves it and we don't, or why we're more in line or whatever. No, both of you guys are in shadow. Both of you guys are in ego. Both of you guys are doing it in two extremes. One's a yin, one's a yang. And we're creating all sorts of conflict by seeing just what's wrong with the other person, But this doesn't mean we're not hurting. Like we're hurting. And maybe we're feeling very separate, We're feeling abandoned. We're feeling pain. And I said I wasn't going to rip into you, and I did. But there is an ending. There's a heaviness here, and I feel for you. You're still human. You still have feelings. So you're going to feel this pain. You're going to feel this, but you're not fully seeing, and you're not fully liberated because you're still in the ego. You're still believing you're the separate I. You're still believing in duality. You're still believing that someone out there, something is going to happen in order to bring your happiness and your fulfillment. And Spirit saying, no, your happiness is right here, right now. Once you see through this ego, there is no future moment of happiness. There is just what happens here. Accept it. Don't try to force something different. We're not happy with the right here, right now. For some reason, the ego wants more. The ego is convincing us that it's not good enough. We have to see through that. Why is it telling us that? There's something we're seeking, And I feel like there might be something within us that is the inner child that's wanting us to see it, that's starting to act in certain ways and put us sort of in position to, I don't know, be seen, be heard, be more. And it's like, but the more it doesn't happen, the more we feel like shit. So we got to give it to the inner child. We got to acknowledge the inner child and deal with this. And then it's not going to feel like this big, big disappointment when the other person isn't coming balanced, because the other person, newsflash, might not be always balanced. And I don't think you're balanced. You might think you are because you're saying, I'm giving of love. How could that not be balanced? It's like, no, actually, you're giving out of an egoic thing. It's an overgiving, most likely, How could that be balanced? You're doing more. And just because you could do more doesn't mean you should, All you should really be doing is acting in line with the heart, not to attain, not to manipulate outcomes, not to get what you want at the end of the day. So I'll do this, that, and the other, because when it doesn't happen, we feel very disappointed. And all of that stuff was just because we were trying to do this or trying to do that. There is no trying because there is no doer. There's just a universe unfolding flat tires and ice cream cones and cookies. And sometimes it's a cookie and sometimes it's a flat tire, But I think you're getting flat tire after flat tire after flat tire after flat tire. And Spirit saying, yes, 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 yes. Flat tires are going to show you that there is no separation, because after maybe 1,000 tires, you're going to say, oh, I finally see it. And then Spirit's going to say, here's your factory of cookies. Good job. It's not trying to torture you, but it wants you to see that there is no separation, that these flat tires are going to keep happening until we see through it. It's for us. Okay? Beautiful angel, this is your reading. I hope this helped you. I'll see you at the next one. All right, bye-bye. Hello, beautiful angel. Pile number 4. You guys picked the anger card, and every time I touch this, it's like I feel like, I'm just so angry. Anyway, my daughter did these. Absolutely cute. I love them. I love her. What are we looking at? We're looking at what it is you're not seeing or understanding about either your situation, yourself, maybe someone you're dealing with. Okay, maybe we're just blind to it. Maybe it's completely just out of our visibility, or we could just be in denial. I don't know what we're going to see. Okay, so this could be highly spiritual. This could be very practical and everything in between. But we're going to be open to what we see, and we're not going to force it to fit, because this is a collective reading. It's not going to resonate for everyone. So the best way to know whether this is your message is to sit through this card layout and tap into my intuition. So what we'll ask the divine is for the divine to deliver right now what it is you're not seeing and what you need to know. Okay, and come up with what you'll see, feel, or hear to determine whether this pile is for you, and don't force it. If it doesn't feel like your pile, then go check out another pile, okay? So you're highly intense, by the way. So if you're not prepared, maybe yours is fairly intense here. I don't know. Big boom. What do we have? 104, number 5. Healthy love, growth level, selfless love. Feeling the love of sharing, intimate love, loving deeply, embodied love, committed love. If some of you guys were called to number 1, that was all about love. I mean, it was the card of love. Doesn't necessarily mean it was about love. You might have been called to it, okay? This might just confirm to you that this is your pile. You don't have to go over there if you don't want to, but I feel like this is saying, if you were pulled and saw that one, this might mean this message is for you, this pile here, if one didn't resonate for you, okay? I don't know. It could be you're dealing with someone else, but we have 5, and 5 is all about conflict, loss, change. It's also about rebuild. It's adventure. It's about challenge. It's about freedom. It's about risk, okay? But it's a change when we have to sort of break out of some form of stability or some form of a mold. So 5 is Hierophant and Temperance. So that is Taurus and Sagittarius energy. We have 3, and 3 is the Empress, which is the ruling planet of Venus, Taurus, Libra. So we have the veil of ignorance with the solar plexus, ego level, being successful, all-consuming ambitions, lack of authenticity, falsehood, workaholic, competitiveness, appearances, valuation, type 3, the achiever, emotional center between appearing and authenticity. And we have 22, conscious awakening, ego level. So 22 is a master number. Peacemaker, diplomacy, healthy energetic boundaries, and divinely guided relationships. Okay, so number 4. 4 is about structure, foundation, stability, planning. It's about material reality, problem solving. This is Aries energy and Scorpio energy. Okay, so idolization, comparison, and jealousy. Existential anxiety, marginalization, excessive nostalgia, feeling of emptiness, emotional complexity. Type 4, the individualist, emotional center between lack and abundance. So it's like a 4 cups meets a 6 of cups in reverse, a 6 of wands with a 5 of wands energy, just to give you an energy of the cards. So we have in the blind spot, we have the bubble, 27. This is funny. When I first got this deck, I kept pulling this card for every single reading. This is kind of like a reverse hangman. Well, the way I read reverse hangman anyway. It's like we're so seeing one way, our own story and perspective, that we're so blinded by the truth and reality. So the belief is very integrated into what we think is real. And then, of course, we reinforce our beliefs. So we start seeing certain things that say, see, it is real. See, that's real. See, that's real. Because we're out there reinforcing the belief that was never real to begin with. Yes, it was our perception. It was a relative reality somewhere from our point of view, but it wasn't the objective truth. And so it limits us. And when we have a limitation, everything outside of the bubble is not within our reach or realm. So we're very limited with our potential and our opportunity. It's only whatever's in the bubble. And if there's no opportunity in the bubble, then we're sort of starting to feel like 4 cups. It's like there's nothing here, 27, or the number 9. 9 is fruition, completion, fulfillment. 9 is wisdom, closure, and service to humanity. And 9 is the hermit and the moon. So we have Virgo and Cancer. We have the cub, so inner child. We have Uranus with number 7. No, is that 7? Number 8, sorry. So 8 is the card of strength, which is ego. Okay, it's also star, which is Aquarius. And Uranus is the ruling planet for Aquarius. Aquarius is outside the box thinking. That's star energy, which is all about our desires, our wishes, and healing. But Uranus is the great awakener, which could be like tower energy or judgment energy, sudden realizations, epiphanies, shifts. Okay. Yeah. So we have Leo and Aquarius. And then we have the card of transmutation. Trigger statement: I don't know who I am, but the true statement is I am. DNA repairing. There is no efforting. There's no farting. There's no efforting required for this shift. Be present and allow every aspect of your being to transform. Perfect. We're not the doer. Let the flow happen. Okay, so let's get some tarot before we channel. So Spirit, thank you so much for this beautiful message. Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 4. What is it that they're not seeing and they're needing to understand in regards to what they're not seeing or understanding today that wants to come through right here, right now for pile number 4? Please protect me and the viewer for the greatest and highest good of pile 4 and what they're needing to know. Thank you so much, Spirit, for this message. And thank you so much, pile 4, for allowing me to tap into your energy, the energy around you at this time. I'm so blessed to be here doing your reading. One more. All right, so we have bottom of the deck page when it says imagination and lovers. It says love. Gemini. So Page of Cups, little ship. Ships talk about movement and travel. We have 3 cups. Okay, 3 cups is celebrations, harmonies, and reconciliations. And we see 3 swords. So 3 swords is separation. Okay, it's the opposite. So heartbreak, loneliness, separation, conflict. Okay, but we have 2 threes, and this is about growth, relationships, and this initial success, joy, communication, self-expression, and fun. That's what 3s are. You have another 3 over here. 333 might be an angel number that you're seeing. Okay, but the 3rd house is all about the mind, thinking, communication, siblings, interests, neighbors. So we have the Chariot. It says turning point. It's in reverse. Okay, Cancer energy. And we have the 10 of Pentacles. It says privilege. And we have the Judgment with liberation, and it is in reverse. And we have the Knight of Cups, and it says Voyager. Okay, and finally, we have the Queen of Wands, and she's in reverse. I think these cards came out for almost every single pile. This one came out for pile number 3. But anyway, let me tap into this. So Queen of Wands is Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And we have the Page and the Knight of Cups. Okay, so give me a second. Transmutation. So I'm getting some Scorpio energy as well here. Beautiful pile number 4. Thank God. I was like, this is going to be like another pile where I'm going to have to go get some water. You know what? This is beautiful. Okay. It doesn't always feel beautiful. Of course not. You're human. This is the epitome of bad and good. Okay. If you want to call it bad and good, which we don't, it's just shadow and light. Okay. But bad meaning, fuck my life. This really sucks. It doesn't feel good. And good meaning it makes me feel good and I'm happy, you know? And we know that things are fleeting. Bad moments are just things that are happening, manifesting, and it's an experience we get through. And then the next day is a better day. It's good things happening, you know? And so it's a flow. And I feel like right now, Spirit's really talking about your flow. This is really showing me you're the same person, a balanced, divine being of God. whether you're having a beautiful, beautiful time and everything's in sync, or at the bottoms of the bottoms where you're feeling really heartbroken, separated, lack, and just down and out. Okay, so humans will feel both. I think what Spirit is showing is that you've done so much work on yourself that despite the work that you do on yourself, you're going to have periods where you feel like crap, where people will do things, and let yourself feel it. And you're going to have points where people will do things or outside circumstances, and it will feel good. Let yourself feel it. There's a need to remain in this beautiful, balanced energy and not to attach ourselves, because we could fall back into the egoic story. When we experience, again, the flat tire analogy, all of my readings today, it kept coming up. The flat tire. Nobody's going to lie and jump up and down and say, yay, flat tires. I'm going to be so happy because this will make me more spiritual, right? It makes me a better person. It's more in line with the divine, right? No, it feels shitty with the flat tire. We weren't expecting it. We're on our way to work. We had to get somewhere in time. So the first kick in the nuts, like, oh, but then what? Then we say, thank you, Lord, because this is showing me something. Maybe I was going too fast. Maybe 2 minutes up the road, I would have been smoked by a semi. This flat tire was showing me something. And so I'm going to bless the Lord for however this unfolded, because it was needing to happen. That's balanced. You know, I still felt the pain in the moment, because pain is always going to manifest. Flat tires manifest, stubbing our toe manifests, people lying to us manifest, shitty situations manifest. Okay, no, we don't got to call them shitty. We just see them as painful things that are manifesting. Not good, not bad. They're just situations that make me feel a certain way. But when I attach to it and I get victim to it, and then I start to get into the low vibe, and then I start to really dwell here. And so we can have highs and lows, and we could be in pendulums. And Spirit's saying, you're not in this pendulum, but you could get on this pendulum, because the ego is always there behind, chirping away, chirping away, chirping away. And when it's not good for some time, it's like, whoa, and maybe this whole thing is a lie, you know? Maybe the ego starts making up this story. And it's like, no, there's good and there's bad. And there will be things that happen that are absolute blessings. Well, it's all a blessing because it's all in God's universe, but that we feel absolutely blessed, and it feels good, and it feels like, you know, a warm pie and love and a soft embrace, whatever it is. And then we're going to have something that feels like, you know, we I don't know, hurt our shins on something on the coffee table. We were walking to get a coffee. So these things are unfolding. And Spirit's really talking about us staying balanced and not getting pulled by these experiences that come and happen that try to pull us back into the ego. And why is because when we start to believe the story of the ego, because it always wants to be there chirping, like I said, it wants to have buy-in. It's going to put a song and dance. It's going to want you to keep it alive. You know, believe in me, believe in me, believe in me. What's me? The hook of the sad story. The hook of I need to attach to this thing. It will make me feel better once I go on vacation. Once it's 5 p.m. Once I get home, I'll be happy. Once I'm in my bed, I'll be happy. You know, once it's Saturday, I'll be happy. No, you're never happy, ego. You're going to keep trying to convince me of a better time. And so there's something here about seeing reality, seeing self, experiencing the highs and the lows, but being centered and balanced. I do feel like there might be a tower moment, or you're going through a tower moment. Things are, okay, I'm not predicting this is exactly what's going to happen and you're going to have a tower, and no. But I do feel like Spirit is really talking about a tower here. And when we have towers, they're towers for a reason, right? It's not like we're always like expecting the tower. That's why it wouldn't be a tower. Then it's an expectant thing. It's not like a spontaneous. This is a spontaneous thing that happens. And these spontaneous things happen in order for us to look at, resolve, and deal with and find balance. Because towers are great. Towers are great because what it does is it gets rid of the fake. It gets rid of what doesn't need to be there. It gets rid of what's not sustainable. It gets rid of shaky things that aren't based on solidness. So if there's anything fake here, if there's anything that can't be built upon it, it falls down. And if we have a hook onto it, like the ego, I'm hooked onto it, then I start to suffer. I go down with it. I try to attach to 4 p.m. and I keep getting hooked to it. And then I get very disappointed when my boss comes and says, you got to stay till 7. to write this thing. Shit, I was so hooked on the 5 p.m. or the 4 p.m. or whatever. Yeah, you were hooked. But if you weren't hooked and you just said, I am happy right now, even though, of course, you're at work, whatever, I'm happy with the present moment. I'm not looking to a future date. We wouldn't get as impacted when the boss says 7 p.m. We'd be like, oh, shit, that sucks. But we really get really disappointed when we kept watching the time. Oh, it's almost 4, it's almost 4, it's almost 4. And then the boss comes at like 5 to 4 saying, stay till 7. We're hooked. And so are we hooked to the highs? Or are we hooked to the lows? Because wherever we're hooked, we're going to attach and we're going to go down with this tower. We don't want to go down with the tower. So how do we not go down with the tower? We accept reality as it is. We see through the illusion that there's going to be positive things happening. Okay, positive polarity, love and light, delight, and desserts. And then there's going to be shitty tires, stubbing our toe, and all of that. And when we see it and we say, I'm not going to bypass, I'm going to feel what I feel right now, and then I'm going to let it sort of pass me by. And so this I am is standing in your authenticity. Okay, this I don't know who I am is like I'm getting pulled in every which way by the ego. The ego tells me now that I'd only be happy at 4 p.m. And now I'm miserable because I'm at work. The ego tells me this is the best thing, that I'm experiencing it. And when it disappears, when the night is over, I'm going to be done with my vacation. Then I'm going to go back to reality and it's going to suck. So I'm really like hooked on this vacation story that I'm telling myself that this is the best thing ever and that everything in comparison is going to suck, that my bed and my house, when I go back to it, is going to suck and not feel as good because I'm so hooked to this thing. And so this is why we don't attach and hook, because of the fact that it's just an egoic story that we're making, because the ego will make up these stories because it has to put on a production. It has to have buy-in. It has to stay alive. It makes all of these identities and these true stories that it wants us to believe. But none of it is actually even true. It's just illusion. It's just a belief. It's just strengthening the ego because it wants to be strong. It wants to be there. And what you think is you at times is like, well, I do want to be happy. Well, I do want to be successful. Like, who doesn't? I want to say, yeah, me for non-success, please. Of course. Okay, but we're not driven from the ego to find the success. The true success we want with the authenticity, saying, well, yeah, I want to be happy, but not if it means selling my soul. Yeah, I want to, go on vacation, but not if this means that the rest of my whole year is going to suck because I keep waiting for the one day I get to go on vacation or the 1 week. Do you know what I'm saying? So there's this need for balance and a need for us to see situations, because I do feel, like I said, there's a tower moment. Okay. And I do feel like there is something that's humbling here. There's something here that's bringing you to reality. And I'm talking about reality with a capital R. And reality with the capital R is humility, seeing the truth for what it is, that there are things that are sort of crappy and there are things that are not crappy. And it's how we engage here. Okay, and so I feel like this is the true essence of acceptance and selfless love, because now we're not putting ourselves in a way that's transactional, and through this is lack of authenticity. So it's like the egoic self is going to engage in the world with an identity it creates, and then it's going to be unfulfilled because it's the egoic self that's acting, and it could never be fulfilled. When I act out of the egoic self, the only things that come to me are actually going towards the ego. So the real me, the authentic me, the essence that's me is still feeling unfulfilled, is still feeling drained, is still feeling like it doesn't have. It's because we're entertaining the ego. But when we don't feed the ego, when we don't listen to the ego, when we still see the pain, it happens. We're like, okay, the pain is there, but I'm not going to listen to the ego story that wants me to be on this swinging pendulum. Oh, it's so good. Oh, it's so bad. And then it's like my authentic self steps up. I can humble myself. I can step up with true acceptance, love the present moment exactly as it is, remove myself because there doesn't need to be a separate self. The only reason we would ever feel a mass disappointment is if there's a separate me that needs to be fulfilled. That's the egoic self. And out there is another world that's a separate, a separation. There's something out there and there's me. No, selfless love. I am out there. I am in here as well. What's happening in me is happening out there. And if we know that we truly are existing and that everything that's unfolding is exactly as it is, then we're totally in line with reality. We're totally in acceptance. We're not resisting. We're not trying to coerce or change reality. And then we can be fully fulfilled when things happen. It's like, it doesn't sway me. I'm already fulfilled. I found my fulfillment. I don't have to reach mountaintops to be happy. And when I'm in the valley, I don't feel down, down, and out. I'm always sort of in this even keel thing. So, inner child. If the inner child still has something that needs to be resolved, which I feel there is something here, it's going to be shown to you through towers. And you could be experiencing multiple towers or one big tower. I don't know. But this is your messaging. There's a tower here. There's a situation or a circumstance. It's going to rock your little inner child here, because we might feel balanced and whole and healed. But the analogy let's use of somebody, let's say, who has done work and is pretty peaceful and doesn't blow up and is really sort of easygoing, is actually pretty selfless, but they still have an unhealed thing and they're just locked up in their room, locked up in a mountain for the rest of their life. They'll never blow up. Nothing will happen. They'll never even know that they had a shadow. But if this person who seemingly is all healed all of a sudden has this tower and the proper mirror triggers like a bomb something in this person's inner child, it's going to show something to this person that could be very triggering and unhealed. So something is unhealed here. For all of you guys, it really is different. I can't tell you, but what it is going to do is going to bring up that ego. And that ego is going to be automatically saying what it does when it's triggered from the shadow, and it's going to start seeing things from that perspective only. And so we just need to be observant and know, am I an ego right now? Is this the pain body talking? Is this the inner child talking? You know, maybe someone's going to just flat out like say, no, that book that you wrote, it actually wasn't very good. I kind of found it boring. We could really get triggered by that. You know, someone else, maybe not. Maybe it's like we spent 10 years writing this book. We thought it was the cat's meow, you know, and then we go and we give it to our favorite publisher thinking the one that, you know, says they publish every single book. They don't turn down everyone. And you go there and they're like, no, it was actually boring and we don't like it. Boom, tower. You know, we weren't expecting it. And so I feel like this, whatever happens through a reflection, through an experience of something, and you could be going through this already, it's saying, are we in our mind of how we're seeing that response? Because we could take that and be completely discombobulated and it throws us in a tizzy, back into ego, back into this pendulum. Or we could quickly sort of get balanced again and say, yeah, well, that's one, for one, it's a publisher's opinion. That's just one small speck in a whole universe of publishers. Two, does it actually mean it sucks and it's boring? That was one person's perspective potentially. And maybe there was a whole slew of things that happened that I don't see. Maybe that person read 10 books that same day and they had no energy to read mine and they were just kind of flipping through it. Maybe they didn't even read it and they just said it. Maybe they didn't even like my name. Maybe they didn't like the paper that I wrote it on. Maybe they were lying and they actually loved it and they wrote everything down and said, no, don't publish it. It sucks. It's boring. Meanwhile, they're going to go publish it. We don't know. But this is what I mean by this bubble is like, no, we're going to say, oh, I suck. It sucks. They found it boring. That's a fact. They came back. They said it was boring. Fact. No, nothing's factual. It's a perception. And so we can't sort of see it in those eyes because then we're not seeing all these other things that could be sort of happening and going on at the same time. And as long as we're sort of trapped in that, we carry the grief of it, the burden of it, and it limits the opportunity around it. So we might be too discouraged to go to another publisher. We might never publish the book ever again. And now the world doesn't get that beautiful creation. And so it really matters, you know, it really matters when we're noticing, when we're getting into the bubble, when we're getting sort of knocked off. And it's like, no, I'm going back into the ego. No, I'm buying that story. I was balanced. And knowing that sometimes things are high and sometimes things are low, but it's not a manifestation of who I truly am underneath it. Who I am truly underneath it is a divine being that's not swayed or pulled by circumstance. And so I feel like, again, this to me is giving me, again, the polar sort of opposite energies. It's like this is completely out of balance. Things are stuck, not moving. There's no success. And this is like the lottery win of the tarot. I built it. It's structured. It stand the test of time. It's everything I could have ever wanted and worked for. And here it is. And it's mine, you know, two opposite things. And so this is what Spirit is saying is like, when we're in this, we're only saying one part of this big, let's say this is the universe encapsulating everything. Okay, of course it can't, but let's just say this is everything in the universe, these two cards. But this little bubble is only a fraction, and it happens to be here. Okay, so now this little fraction is only the reverse chariot being shown to me. And I truly believe this. And so all I see is stuckness, not moving, no success. And that's all I see because I have this bubble eye, you know, and then I never produce the book, like I said. But if I know that I'm in the bubble and I say, well, this is how it happened, but I know there's other things, and I know that the universe is all abundant, that there is this thing happening, just because I'm not feeling it or seeing it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Then I'm still going to publish my book. Then guess what? I turn this reverse chariot into this 10 pentacle because I feel like the world's your oyster. And I don't feel like there's any doors closing unless you let them close, unless you believe that they are going to close you out or shut you out. They don't have any control. Just your ego is trying to save you, protect you from humiliation and everything else. You know, I don't want other people to think my work is boring. So the ego goes and it creates this protection. Okay, don't publish it then, you know, don't do it because it's going to be, you know, everyone's going to laugh at you. They're going to think that you're not a real writer. They're going to think you're a joke. It's like, that's the ego because it's trying to not make you feel foolish. It wants you to be at the top of your kingdom, everyone to love you, for you to look, you know, a certain way. That's what the ego wants, to be accepted, to be loved, to be at the height of its game. If it says, well, you're going to be at the bottom, you're going to be a joke, you're not going to survive, no one's going to like you, you're not going to make money, and then you're never going to do it. And so where are we sitting? The ego could tell us many stories and none of it but chirping. None of it is true. Okay, so we're not really seeing the truth when we're telling ourselves the story of the ego. And so Spirit's just saying, when you get stuck in the tower, when something happens that mirrors to you duality, Spirit is saying, are we actually seeing what's happening? Or are we exploring the possibility of everything else that maybe we're not seeing right now, or at least being open to it and not saying, nope, that's it. It's a fact. My book sucked. It was boring. You know, that would be a reverse judgment and a reverse liberation because we're not free. And we're really restricted and limited to not publishing the book and that one thought mind track. It's like, no, there's another possibility. There's actually two cards, not just the one. And this whole possibility is exploration. There's imagination. There's a whole other world out here. That Spirit's saying it's available to you. It's always available to you. It can never be taken away from you. The only person who could take it away is you by your ego. But you're not even your ego. You're your essence. And so Spirit is saying you're transmuting a lot of this ego that tries to feed you the hook. You know, whatever hook it wants you to follow because it thinks it's going to save you from something or make you get something because the ego wants to attain something. So no, we're not listening, ego. Thank you very much. But I'm going to listen to all possibility. Okay, this doesn't mean you're in Delulu land. This just means I'm open to all possibility because there is a world out there, even things I haven't seen, things that haven't shown themselves to me. That doesn't mean they don't exist. You are on the path, Spirit is saying, the divine path. Okay, whatever is meant for you, you're on this path. Don't let things derail you. Don't let things rock your confidence. Don't let whatever you think is not working mean that you can't build the future you want. Spirit is really talking about you're going to get to build this beautiful 10 pentacle in the material world. This is the 3D world. This only happens when our energy is aligned in the 5D. Everything's aligned, you know, unless, of course, it just gets handed to us and then taken away and we're attached to material wealth, then we're crushed. But Spirit is saying you will build this pentacle realm through your own doing of spiritual work and attaining this beautiful 10 pentacle. But once we get balance and we integrate all of the shadows that we're needing to integrate, so that when we do get to the material game, we're not filled with ego. We're not attached to it. We're not hooked to it. So if it does get threatened, then we come crashing down. Spirit doesn't want to give you a 10 pentacle so that you're privileged in a way here that's like handed to you. Spirit wants you to know that you will get handed this 10 of pentacle when you get there of your own accord, because you are deserving of it and you don't need the ego to attain it through the ego's shenanigans. Okay, so you're deserving of this 10 pentacle, something very solid, something being very successful, something always being on the table for you to explore, even when things seem like they're not working out. That means there's another way. There's another door. There's another exploration. That door closed for a very good reason. It's just like that flat tire. There's a reason that door closed. It wasn't down that path. And Spirit is saying you're actually on that path. You're on the path of finding your destined partner to create whatever you're creating here. You know, if that's a business partner, a publisher, a relationship, I don't know what this is. You know, producer, songwriter, dancer, whatever. I don't know. But this is saying you're on the path wherever you're destined, and you're going to be moving in that direction. And the only time you ever get stuck is when you're in shadow and ego, and then you trip yourself up and you start saying, well, it's not going to be successful. And then we start hooking into the 3 swords. Okay. So allow yourself to move with spirit, be in the flow. Don't start to like kick the flat tire and scream and shout there for a week about the flat tire, because that will burn your time. See it. Don't like it when it happens, but I'm accepting it as a part of the plan. And it happened for a very good reason. Okay, because I do feel like we're still aligning things here. We're still empty-handed, is what I feel. And things are aligning for you. Okay, just because you're empty-handed, you might be saying, well, I guess it's going to be empty-handed forever. No. You know, and maybe we just get turned down one too many times, or that thing just happened. And all of a sudden it's like, you know what? I was trying to be positive. I was trying to be balanced, and you were doing very good. And then all of a sudden, like I said, something's going to ego this inner child. And all of a sudden, everything out the window, all the shadow work, all my peace and love and light. I'm just angry at this fucking flat tire or this book getting rejected. And all of this shadow comes out like a, you know, and it's okay if it does. It's natural, but Spirit wants you to keep it in check or see it in action and say, whoa, you just acted out of ego. You just were reflected something of your inner child. Are you still, you know, in that thought, or are you sort of seeing it for what it is? Your tantrum for what it was, accepting it to be sort of a burst. And now I'm going to move forward and produce the book still, because the book still needs to get produced. I still am empty-handed here, and I don't want to be empty-handed, nor do I deserve to be empty-handed, because I'm promised by the divine all abundant things, because abundance is everywhere. Infinity is happening constantly, and the infinite is abundant all around you. So it's constant, and it's full, completely full, packed. There is no lack. Anywhere you go, anytime you go, it's always full. You know what I mean? So if it's always full, how could there ever be lacking? There is no lack. And so this 10 Pentacles is for you. There is no empty-handedness. There is no lack. There's just you experiencing something here. Okay? To mirror something, to heal something of this inner child. Because without you experiencing this, I don't think you would have saw this shadow. And to be kind to this inner child. Don't start to gang up, you know, like that, to book, oh, it was boring, and then be like, yeah, it's boring. I suck. This boring book, stupid me. No, you know, and I don't think you're prone to that, but I think in this instant, whatever this thing that happens, it does something here, and I feel like you echo it, and you can either align with it and keep down that path, or you could say, no, that's an ego thing, and there's other realities here, and I'm going to love myself, be kind to myself, and know that this was just a thing I didn't expect, like a flat tire, but is actually a blessing, divine protection, a course correction, a realignment. Like I already am this in which it is that I'm trying to attain and seek. I'm already that, you know, it's for me. It's already there. The universe already has it, because you'll start to really sort of lack confidence here if you start to say the same thing that the book producer says to you, or parrot whatever that experience is, because that inner child believes it. You believe it somewhere inside yourself that you're a boring writer, you know, or whatever the thing is that comes out. Some part of you believes it, even if conceptually you're like, no, I knew my book was good. That's why I went to the publisher. No, but some part of you inside of you thought, oh, but maybe some part of it isn't good, or some part of it could be boring. And then the person's like, yeah, it's boring. And it's like, boom. I hear the word or feel the feelings that bring out that inner child, ego. And Spirit's talking about dropping the ego, dropping the mask, and knowing that you are going to attain the thing. You're not going to be empty-handed. Keep pursuing this. Okay? Don't get turned down. Don't get blocked and stuck there. And no need to feel all of this ego longer than need be, because then we're choosing to suffer. Okay, have compassion, have love, be selfless here. And humility is all about saying, divine, you know what's best. Divine, even if it's a poor experience to me, I am with selfless love, know that it's for the greater good. That's true ascension, you know? So, beautiful angel, this is your reading. I hope this helped you, and I will see you at the next one. Bye-bye.